Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and we are here to cover the Bank of America earnings call and to see if there's going to be a surprise partnership. And I'll give you some evidence to suggest that. I'll give you some of my thoughts and opinions. But remember, nothing I say is financial advice. This is my thoughts and opinions only. Please do not buy or sell based on anything I say during the making of this live stream or video. This all comes as XRP is approaching that $3 mark once again. This is looking very exciting and things can heat up very quickly for XRP. And that's what we're hoping for during the earnings call, to potentially get some sort of indication whether it's a direct XRP announcement, whether it's something to do with blockchain usage, or whether it's something to do with ISO. It does seem a real possibility that one of those things are mentioned within the earnings call. We'll be covering it very shortly. But before we do have some information to share with you today from our newsletter. Remember, it comes out every single day. The 5 things you know, plus 2 extra stories today, as well as the deep dive story, which today is all about Bank of America and the partnership. So I'm going to get into that now. We're going to get straight into it because the earnings call is starting in about 20 minutes time, and we want to know what we can expect throughout that call. So thank you for tuning in. If you are here straight away, I would like to get 200 likes. Let's see if we can do it. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already, and let's get into the story. So deeper dive, Bank of America, ISO20022 and the XRP opportunity. The infrastructure shift that could change everything, and when I say change it could change literally everything. On July the 14th, remember we covered this a couple of days ago, on Monday, the Federal Reserve implemented the ISO20022 messaging standard across the FedWire system, a monumental shift in US payment infrastructure. This upgrade enables richer, structured data for cross-border transactions, aligning US systems with global financial messaging norms. Bank of America, America's second largest bank, has been deeply involved in the transition, participating in Federal Reserve's multi-year rehearsal program. The bank systems now support ISO 20022 XML format, unlocking real-time, data-rich communication across borders. What else supports that? Ripple and RippleNet XRP ledger. So this enhanced messaging is we covered this on Monday, and how amazing this ISO is. It just basically means that now everything's ISO compliant within the financial world. Swift is going to be in the next few months. It takes a day to implement the XRP ledger into the ISO. So if the banks wanted to start using it, instead of taking years and months of preparation, they are all on the same messaging standard. It can happen in a day. So that's what I mean by it's highly compatible with blockchain-based systems. RippleNet, Ripple's distribution ledger-based solution, was purpose-built from the ground up, let me say, for this environment. It provides a messaging layer that integrates with legacy infrastructure and settlement layer via XRP, eliminating the need for Nostro accounts and streamlining global remittance process. Bank of America reports earnings today. In about 20 minutes time, Bank of America is going to be, we're going to be listening to the live earnings call. And analysts will be closely watching for any commentary on ISO 20022 implementation or cross-border payment innovation. And that's what we're going to be listening into. If you are going to be watching live with us, you will be among the first people to ever hear this news if it does come out. Again, likelihood pretty low. Would they make the announcement here? You wouldn't think so. However, when questions start coming in, they can't not answer the questions. When some subtle hints come in, we're going to be the first to hear it. So am I going to say it's 100% likely we're going to hear this announcement now? No. I'm going to be obviously upfront with you guys. However, if it does happen, this will be the biggest day in history for XRP, in my opinion, because we will be the first to watch it. We'll be the first to know the news. We'll be the first. I'll be opening a position straight away. Again, that's not financial advice, but I want to be the first to know, and I'm sure you want to be the first to know. So that's why we're covering it, and that's starting in 20 minutes time. So, and I've got it all set up for you guys here. We are waiting. Currently, it's just music. Earnings start in 19 minutes. And analysts will be closely watching for any commentary on ISO20022 implementation or cross-border payment innovation. With the FedWire upgrade now live, this earnings call offers a timely opportunity for Bank of America's leadership to provide insights into how banks play to leverage its upgraded infrastructure. Excuse me, I didn't have time to mute it. I apologize. I had something in my throat. With the FedWire upgrade now live, the earnings call offers a timely opportunity for Bank of America's leadership to provide insight into how the bank's plans to leverage its upgraded infrastructure, possibly including RippleNet or on-demand liquidity, especially as speculation continues around XRP adoption. So let me just have a drink of water. This is very timely. 2 days ago, we had ISO implementation for the Fed wire. That is trillions of dollars a day run with that system. This is why I'm even more thinking that this could be brought up, or they might even mention it themselves, because people are going to be asking about, in my opinion, how this upgraded infrastructure is going to affect Bank of America, and that could lead straight into XRP adoption as well. So, why Ripple's model fits. Ripple's on-demand liquidity, and as we're reading this, we are looking at XRP's price approaching $3, and this could be the news that takes it to all-time highs. Again, all speculative, all dubious speculation, but it's definitely worth covering in case it does happen. Ripple's on-demand liquidity product leverages XRP to settle cross-border payments in seconds. If you are watching live with us, please do hit the like button. Let's make sure we get everyone into the stream. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do also subscribe. But do hit that like button, share this out, put it on your X's, share it out to the XRP holders, because we are going to be covering Bank of America in 15 minutes time. Offering a direct alternative to traditional correspondence banking. Instead of pre-funding accounts worldwide, banks can move money on demand using XRP as the bridge asset. This is particularly compelling in the ISO world, where richer payment data is preserved and transaction flows become transparent. Ripple has added further utility with the launch of RLUSD, a USD peg stablecoin designed to complement XRP. RLUSD allows banks to offer dollar settlement through the Ripple ecosystem, while XRP handles the liquidity bridging, migrating volatility concerns, and enabling faster transactions. So, the Ripple Bank of America relationship, what we know. I can't imagine the FOMO you feel right now, Sensei. Like to see $3.25 at this point. I'm always going to feel a bit of FOMO. I'm always going to wish I bought more at 30, 50 cents, even though I bought pretty much as much as I could. But I'm not going to be buying on the FOMO unless we get that partnership news, and I want to be. I'm sure it'll go. If we get it first live, we can certainly do a few things. Bank of America has rumored to have close ties with Ripple. It has been part of Ripple's global payment steering group since 2016 and has participated in pilot programs. In a 2020 podcast, Bank of America's head global banking, Julie Harris, confirmed the bank's collaboration with Ripple, saying integration depends on client infrastructure and that partnerships with firms like Ripple are part of their toolkit. In addition, Bank of America has filed 80 blockchain-related patents. One 2017 patent explicitly references a Ripple distributed ledger system for real-time settlement, mirroring RippleNet's core function. So we do have very sort of credible rumors and patents showing that there is something going on between Ripple and and Bank of America. And we do actually have a CEO that I'm going to show you that says, and I'll read it now, recent unverified reports go further. Fox Business commentator David claimed Bank of America uses XRP for 100% of its internal transactions and has filed 83 blockchain patents. Though not confirmed by Bank of America or Ripple, the frequency of filings and piloted collaboration suggests serious institutional interest. So let me play you this directly from the news.
Things.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them, and basically the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it, and there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out.
I'm going to play that again.
Things.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird.
So you need to remember, firstly, that XRP was and has only been the only ever cryptocurrency to be in the number 2 spot. It was in the number 2 spot before the SEC came out with this unjust lawsuit that they've lost now. So that means overtaking Ethereum's market cap, which I think is very easy to do. Maybe another 2.5x, somewhere there, or 2.2x.
Lawsuit against them, and basically the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents.
He's suggesting Bank of America do 100% of their internal transactions with XRP. We can't support that claim, but he's come out, he's a credible CEO, and he said that on Fox Business. So that is something to definitely take into account. Regulatory clarity paves the way. Remember, we are going to be covering the Bank of America earnings call in 30 minutes' time, and that's when we can really start hearing these claims potentially being verified by the source themselves. If you have just tuned in, please do hit the like button. If you are liking us covering this and giving you the insights beforehand, please do hit the like button. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. One thing before I give you some more news on that, I'm going to go to my X and I'm going to ask everyone to follow me on X. I'm not going to tell you too much yet, but if you follow me on X, let's just say it will be worth it. I've just put the link in the chat. Take a second. Let's see if we can get to 1,250 followers. Let's see if we can do that live on the show right now. And while you're doing that, to continue with the story, and if you appreciate what we're doing, please go and retweet this post. I've just put a post out all about Bank of America earnings report. I want all the XRP community to be in the show today, the ones that follow us. So please do go out and retweet this and hit it with a like. I've just put it in the chat. It takes 1 second. It's free. So please go and do that. Go and retweet that post. Give it a like. And while you're there, drop me a follow on X. I would really appreciate that. And if you have just tuned in, please do hit the like button as well. We are 12 minutes away from possibly hearing this this news. Regulatory clarity also paves the way. The SEC settlement with Ripple in June 2025 resolved a multi-year legal battle offering clearing XRP for institutional use. We can skip through that for a second and go to what's important right now, which is what Bank of America could announce. Several potential next steps for Bank of America are in play. Corridor-specific on-demand use. Bank of America could launch Ripple-powered corridors in Latin America or Asia, tapping Ripple's existing infrastructure. Corporate Treasury Solutions, offering an XRP-based liquidity service to multinational clients, would create efficiencies in complex supply chains. RLUSD integration, integrating the Ripple stablecoin into global cash management, could offer stable settlement with XRP liquidity power. Strategic partnerships. A formal announcement of Ripple Bank of America partnership could include joint ventures or technology licensing. We can get any of these being announced today, whether it's within the fact that ISO has just come live on Monday with Fedwire and trillions of dollars a day now using ISO, and the fact that that's going to be a talking point potentially, and that can come onto the fact, are they going to integrate with some cryptocurrencies, XRP, Ripple, for example? Is there going to be any partnership announcements? So a lot that could be said in this earnings call, and we will be the first to cover it live. So stay with us, because that's starting in 10 minutes time. So, and we'll be the first to know out of everyone, because no one cares about the banks, and the banks is all pretty much all what XRP and Ripple is focusing on, but no one wants to listen through an earnings call, but the real investors do, and that's what we're going to be covering live for you guys. So if Bank of America adopts XRP and Ripple's technology publicly, it would validate the let me just quickly check, are we moving, or is everyone being lazy this morning? 1,214 followers, are we on 1,250? Let me give it 1,228. We're not there. People aren't doing it. Everyone thinks someone else is going to do it. No, you guys have to do it. There is the link for the X. Go follow. We've got 11 retweets. We can get this up to 20. We've got 500 people watching. Let's get 9 more retweets. That means anyone who's watching hasn't retweeted yet, just take a second, click on the link. It's as easy as clicking on a link and pressing a button. Go and retweet it. Remember, there is a whole thread, so please do, and give the whole thread some love as well. Like the whole thread as well if you can. There it is. I'm going to be keeping an eye on this. 1,229 followers, 20 more followers to get to that 50 mark. If you haven't done it already, please do. We are waiting for Bank of America. They're still playing their music, and they'll be live in 8 minutes' time. XRP is right now at $2.94. It's showing strength. Everyone thought it was the end when we had that correction from $3 last time, but it's not. We tried it once, we tried it 2 times. Are we coming in for the 3rd attempt? Remember, the more times we're going to hit this touch point, it is actually more likely to break. And the 3rd attempt is normally when we might see the volatility. And when we break $3, I expect to go straight to basically all-time highs. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. This is my thoughts and opinions only. So please do not buy or sell based on anything I'm saying. But if we do get an announcement, I would expect a God candle on XRP straight to all-time highs. If they don't announce it, even then, maybe there will be a slight pullback, but I expect $3 to break with this strength. Bitcoin is also up 1%. Remember, the Genius Act didn't go through yesterday alongside the Clarity Act and the Anti-CBDC Act, because of some Republicans who don't know how to read an act and think that there's literally an Anti-CBDC Act, and they were worried that the Genius Act doesn't stop CBDCs, whereas I proved on an X post yesterday, and that's why you have to go on my X, that literally the wording says there can't be a CBDC created. And nothing can be created to be available to the public. So the wording was there. They just need to read it. They're coming out today. Donald Trump spoke to them. About 10 out of 11 of them have said, and again, that's all in the newsletter. 10 out of 11 of them said that they're going to vote again in favor of it, and that means that we should get that approved today. We'll be covering that live vote as well. So stay with us. Make sure you're subscribed if you haven't done so already. Let me see if we have it here. I know I've done the story on it. Where have I put it? Here it is. After GOP revolt, Trump poised for comebacks in today's crypto vote. House Republicans defied President Trump on Tuesday, blocking a procedural vote on 3 major cryptocurrency bills to the administration's crypto week. 196 to 223 defeat. 13 conservative Republicans joined Democrats, but he's now persuaded 11 out of 12 holdouts to back the legislation. So we are expecting a revote at 12:20 p.m. We've also got XRP ETF launches as well, waves of them coming in, and the bullish news of the Dubai tokenization real estate on the XRP ledger. That's all happening this week as well. Ripple has partners with Control Alt to enable Dubai Land Department real estate tokenization project using XRP's ledger technology. There is so much good news coming out day in, day out, every single day. We're covering it on the newsletter. If you don't have the newsletter, I'm going to give you the newsletter link. Please do subscribe to the newsletter. Every single day you get the 5 top stories, you get the deep dives, you get the charts, you get everything you need to know before the bell goes. There is the newsletter link right in the chat. So back to Bank of America, because that's starting in 5 minutes time. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. We want to be the first to know if there is any Ripple Bank of America relationship or partnership coming up. I'm going to play you this video again because this is very interesting about how 100% of the transactions are running on XRP in Bank of America at the moment. Remember, this is unverified, but he is a verified CEO. So here we go.
And there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out. Things.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them, and basically the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it, and there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out.
100%. So it's unverified, but it certainly gives you a glimpse of what they could be announcing. I don't know why he would be lying. So we'll have to see if there's any announcements in 4 minutes time. So stay with us. We've just got a comment from Martyn saying, want a bullish move on the dip last night. Before this, I used my cash of 30,000 and now 34,000 of margin to buy. Last night was a buy from me. Congratulations to Martyn. He's obviously up, I would imagine, with a comment like that. Let me go. US 500 is the market's up. Yep, they're up 0.14%. So congratulations to Martyn for doing that. He will be live later on today, guys. I will be doing the earnings call for you today. Let me also now holding XRP to show. Yeah, Martyn is now an XRP holder as well. We all love that. Martyn is now only holds the S&P 500 on XRP. I mean, if that isn't a show of support to the community, I'm not sure what is. So thank you, Martyn, for supporting the community. Let me go back to XRP's price. We are trying to break out. We got sort of a bullish flag going on right now on the 15-minute time frame, which could definitely take us to $3 once this earnings call starts. Remember, we're looking for any partnership announcement, any questions about XRP and their usage of it, anything about ISO, any corporate treasury solutions for them, anything about RLUSD. So a lot of things that they could mention in this earnings call. That's why we're covering it. So we're the first here. So make sure you stay tuned until the end of the earnings call, because that's when the Q&A is. They might mention it at the beginning, more likely within the Q&A at the end, or they might not mention it at all. But if we're here, at least we're the first to know, and we can take advantage of that. What I will be doing, and this is definitely not something that you guys should do because I'm a very high risk trader, if I get any glimpse of that partnership, I will be going long on XRP, just because I'll be the first, sort of, unless anyone else is covering the earnings call, which they're not. I'll be sort of frontlining the news before it starts circulating on X and stuff like that. So that's what I'm going to be waiting for. That's what I'm going to be listening into. Again, the possibilities are fairly low, but that's why if it happens, it's going to be even more explosive. So 2 minutes until the call. Have we got the followers? 1,232. There needs to be 18 more followers. 18 more followers before it starts. What's going on? I'm going to give you the link. There is my X. Click on the link. Even if you followed me, click on that link so you can come down here and repost my Bank of America earnings today so we can get more people into the show. Please do go and help out on there. It is free to do. There is the X link. Go and click on it, follow it, and go and retweet my live, my pinned comment. If you haven't got the newsletter, that's where all our news sources are from. That's what we do every single morning. There is the newsletter link. If you want to do a super chat, it reads it. I apologize for the background noise. If you want to do a super chat, it will read it live on the show. So if you want to be part of the making of this live stream, you can do a super chat and it'll read it live on the show. You'll also be recognized as the top super chatter of the day. Or if you beat Matthias, you'll be the top super chatter of all time and claim your spot there. But we are now coming up to the time. Still music. I'll be keeping an eye on this. Any second now, we can start tuning in to the earnings report, starting any second now. Remember, this could be when they start announcing the on-demand liquidity use, treasury solutions, RLUSD integration, strategic partnerships, if they're using XRP, if they're going to be talking about ISO, if they're going to back up claims of 100% of internal transactions are using XRP, if there's any relationship news, all of that. Nothing yet. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Martyn has said we're about to hit 90. Let me go and find the subscriber page. It's over here. Oh, 90,869. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe. Nothing yet. Any second now, we're going to start hearing it. It is time to start. We will keep an eye on that. XRP is about to break out of a bull flag. We're about to hear from Bank of America and see if there is any. Remember, ISO happened 2 days ago. It makes sense for them to make some sort of announcement about it and then questions to follow up about crypto usage and possibly XRP usage as well, or Ripple partnership news. Nothing yet. Any second now, we will get it starting. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Please do hit the like button. We are going to go silent during this. I'll make maybe a couple comments, but we are going to be listening in. Make sure you tune into the end of the earnings call, because that's when the Q&A and that's when the most likely part where they're going to announce this. Again, it's not guaranteed, so don't get annoyed at me. I'm just trying to bring you the news straight up, and this is a request from a member to cover the Bank of America. There is my X link. Are we on 1,250 followers yet? 9 more followers, 9 more. Out of the 800, I'm sure there's 9 people that haven't followed me. Let's see if we can do it. Still waiting. Any second now, they'll go live with the earnings call. XRP's price still forming that bull flag. If you want the XRP mug is one we did for Brad Garlinghouse going to Senate, a very important day. You get that and a t-shirt, both 25% off in the shop if you want to support the channel and get a cool mug. There is the link.
Please, today's call
We're going live now.
And I will be standing by should you need any assistance. It is now my pleasure to turn the conference over to Lee McEntire. Please go ahead.
Thank you, Chloe. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us to review the second quarter results. Our earnings release documents are available on the Investor Relations section of the bankofamerica.com website. Those documents include the earnings presentation that we'll make reference to during the call. Brian Moynihan, our CEO, will make some opening comments before he turns the call over to forward-looking statements. Our CFO, to discuss more of the details. Let me just remind you that we may make forward-looking statements and refer to non-GAAP financial measures during the call. Factors that may cause our actual results to materially differ from expectations are detailed in our earnings materials, SEC filings available on the website. Information about our non-GAAP financial measures, including reconciliations to U.S. GAAP, can also be found in our earnings materials available on our website. With that, Brian, I'll turn the call over to you.
Good morning, and thank all of you for joining us for our second quarter 2025 earnings results. First, a couple of words on environment. We continue to see a
This is the highest the volume can be.
Spending data, you can see on our page 21 of the deck. Improving credit quality that Alistair talked about from already strong statistics. Plenty of household net worth growth in the market growth, and also the account balances, again, staying strong above where they were pre-pandemic. We see solid commercial loan growth, and we see good credit quality, with the exception of CRE and office, which we'll talk about. We also see our clients continue to see clarity with the changes in trade and tariffs, and now with the tax bill passing, we can see them start to understand the future and expect them to behave accordingly. We saw improving market conditions during the quarter, and that leads our worldwide leading research team to continue to predict no recession, a modestly growing economy, about 1.5% at the end of the year, and continued no Fed rate cuts till next year. So with that backdrop, we talk about our second quarter. Key points on the second quarter as follows. We produced another solid quarter of revenue growth, earnings, and returns. Second point is these earnings are driven by strong organic growth across all the businesses. The third is we continue to drive technology innovation, both on the product side that we offer our customers, but also on the operational excellence side. We're continuing to see the benefits of our long-term investment in technology capabilities, digitization, machine learning, and now we're starting to see at the beginnings the AI practices that we develop pay off, and we're looking forward to much more. On slide 2, we start the earnings discussion. This morning we reported revenue of $26.6 billion on an FTE basis, net income of $7.1 billion after tax, and earnings per share of 89 cents for the second quarter. On a year-over-year basis, we grew revenue 4% and grew earnings per share 7%. We produced a return on assets of 83 basis points and return on tangible common equity of 13.4% in the second quarter. We produced $14.8 billion in NII, a record for the company, growing 7% from the second quarter in 2024. This represents the fourth quarter of NII growth in line with the guidance we've been giving you. Supporting that, average deposits have now grown for 8 consecutive quarters, and we have achieved this while maintaining very disciplined deposit pricing. That's great work by our teams. Markets-related revenue gained momentum throughout the quarter. We recorded our 13th consecutive quarter of year-over-year sales and trading growth. Jim DeBar and the team continue to do a good job there. Revenue was up 15% over the prior year quarter. We also produced more than $1.4 billion in firm-wide investment banking fees, and the quarterly results improved as each month of the quarter progressed. We reported expense below $17.2 billion this quarter, $600 million lower than the first quarter of 2025, in line with the expectations we gave you. We reported our 6th consecutive quarter of net charge-offs at around the $1.5 billion level. This is a little bit of a tale of two cities. Consumer net charge-offs were lower. Offsetting that, we had elevated commercial real estate office charge-offs. We resolved a number of credits in this quarter, in the second quarter. When those credits close in the third quarter, you'll see the reduction in NPLs related there too. The good news is that most of those second quarter charge-offs were previously reserved, so it had a modest impact on the profitability for the quarter. We provided capital in support of our customers and clients to help them grow. For example, we delivered strong commercial loan growth, as you can see. We also provided more balance sheet to our institutional clients for their financing needs. At the same time, we also increased the capital return to our shareholders. In the second quarter, we repurchased $5.3 billion in shares and paid $2 billion in dividends. In the first half of 2025, we have returned $13.7 billion in total capital, 40% higher than the first half of 24. Tangible book value per share continued to grow this quarter. Let's move our discussion to organic growth. You can see that on slide 3. We added new clients and deepened relationships with our existing clients. That was across all our businesses, consumer, wealth, commercial, and our markets business. Our teams are winning in the marketplace by putting the client first. For example, in consumer banking, we continue to grow primary checking accounts. We grew average consumer deposits for a third consecutive quarter. Balances are up year over year for the first time since 2022, putting the effects of the pandemic surges behind us. This quarter, we crossed the milestone of 5 million net new checking accounts over the last 6 years. We saw increases in the average consumer checking account balance of our clients for 2 consecutive quarters, and now the average balance per account is over $9,200, and 92% of the primary checking accounts.
XRP might be breaking out.
Our clients carry an average funded balance of more than $130,000, strong when compared to the industry. Our home and auto originations grew on a year-over-year basis this quarter. We continue to be a leading supplier of credit to small businesses.
Remember, I'm going to keep this very quick. Remember, this is not when they're going to announce the XRP Ripple partnership. It could be towards the end at the Q&A or once they get onto more of their strategic moves. This is just talking about their earnings for Bank of America. So stay with us because it could get exciting.
Demand as well as market appreciation. Our advisors continue to deliver comprehensive banking solutions to help our clients achieve their goals. In our global banking business, client activity remains solid. Commercial clients are actively using their credit facilities, albeit at still a lower level than they used them as a percentage prior to the pandemic. And our risk management approach remains very disciplined. We've added more than 1,000 net new clients, most of them driven by our payments capabilities. Global markets continue to perform well with a record second quarter level of sales and trading revenue. Institutional clients sought funding of their warehouse of loans and other needs at increased pace with high-quality collateral. Organic growth means that we're also investing in our own capabilities, our people, and our technology to serve our clients more effectively. Those investments have led to continued expansion in digitalization and engagement across all our lines of business. Nearly 80% of our consumer households are now fully digitally engaged, and they benefit from our award-winning platforms. Just to give you a sense of the volumes, in the second quarter alone, 4 billion logins were made by our consumer. In the second quarter, 65% of our consumer product sales were digital. You can see all these trends in our disclosures on slides 24, 26, and 28 in the appendix. I commend you to review them to see how the technology application can be scaled and applied across the businesses. We also continue to invest in our teammates and are moving more money into the AI side and machine learning side. And as we think about the quarters ahead and the operating leverage returning in the company due to the NII growth, it's key to note we have fully absorbed the cost of the last several years of inflation and wages and other third-party provided services. 15 years ago, to make it an understanding of how much an impact technology has had, 15 years ago, the company had a headcount of 300,000. Today, we have 212,000. We did that with a relentless application of scalable, secure, resilient technologies. Customer behavior also changed and matched it. Digitization, simplification of products, machine learning and models, and process improvements helped us get there. Now we have a chance to capture the value that with the new enhanced capabilities of AI and machine learning. Artificial intelligence allows us to change the work across many more areas of our company effective than prior tools allowed us. We have deep scaling experience in AI capabilities. With Erica, our AI assistant is the most recognized aspect of that. As you can see on slide 4, we think about the way we apply artificial intelligence and augmented intelligence in 4 different pillars. AI agents, search and summarization, content generation, importantly, coding and automated processes. First off, as an example, is our virtual assistant, Erica. This is a model we introduced back in 2018 and developed prior to that. It was the first true banking industry virtual agent. It averages over 58 million interactions per month today, helping to make it easier for clients to bank how they want and where they want. We also leveraged Erica capabilities for use of our commercial clients in CashPro, as well as with our employees in Erica for Employees. To give you a sense, 90% of our more than 210,000 teammates have now utilized Erica for Employees to complete such tasks as password updates, equipment refreshes, etc. In wealth management and our other relationship manager banking businesses, AI is helping those relationship managers and advisors search and summarize information, preparing them to deliver personalized planning and personalized pitches to clients for their business and help with their advice. Co-pilots help them organize the prospecting process, and all this is implemented and going through the system. In our operations group, AI tools help improve our process around customer satisfaction. One chat-based AI product works between markets and operations and allows us to have 750 people engaged with AI agents to allow them to reconcile trades, which has saved many FTE already. In addition, as you can see, we have 17,000 programmers using AI coding technology today.
They're talking about AI, which is new technology. They can talk about XRP next. Be ready.
Overall, we have 1,400 AI patents and have created over 250 AI and machine learning models in the company. We're currently working through many dozens of our AI proof of concepts beyond what I just spoke about. These investments are intended to help both improve the client experience and our own productivity. So if you think about the quarter before I turn it over to Alistair, just a few points. We saw good organic client activity. We enjoyed good growth in revenue and earnings per share. We continue to invest in that growth and are beginning to see the impacts of AI, again, aiding our efficiency. We managed risk well. That drove healthy returns, and we kept delivering more capital back to you as our shareholders. With that, I'll turn it over to Alistair.
All right, well, thank you, Brian. I'm going to skip slide 5 of the earnings presentation since Brian covered most of that already. And I just want to provide a little more context on the highlights of the quarter starting on slide 6, where you can see revenue of $26.6 billion on an FTE basis grew more than 4% from second quarter last year. Now, we saw the year-over-year revenue growth in several areas. NII grew 7% and represented 55% of total revenue. Investment and brokerage fees rose 11%, with both assets under management flows and market levels contributing nicely to the growth. This quarter's $5.4 billion of sales and trading revenue grew 15% from the year-ago period. Service charges grew 7% with particular strength in global payment solutions, and card income improved 4%. And while investment banking was down 9% from the second quarter of 24, momentum built across the quarter with a good pipeline. Non-interest expense was a little less than $17.2 billion and down nearly $600 million from Q1, driven by the absence of Q1 seasonal elevation in payroll taxes. Provision expense for the quarter was $1.6 billion, with asset quality remaining in great shape. And we reduced our outstanding shares by almost 4% from the second quarter of last year. So together, these things resulted in earnings per share improving 7% year over year. Let's transfer to a discussion of the balance sheet using slide 7. And here, total assets ended the quarter at $3.44 trillion. That is up $92 billion from Q1, driven by strong loan growth and a higher level of client activity in global markets. Deposits were up $22 billion on an end-of-period basis from Q1 and up a little more than $100 billion from the year-ago period. Deposits reflect the seasonal headwind from income tax payments and saw inflows that more than offset the tax payment activity. Average global liquidity sources of $938 billion remain strong. Shareholders' equity at $300 billion was up $4 billion from last year, as we issued $3 billion of preferred stock this quarter to replace redemptions from last quarter, and we saw modest improvement in AOCI. Otherwise, net income was offset by distributions of capital to shareholders. We returned $7.3 billion of capital back to shareholders, with $2 billion in common dividends paid and $5.3 billion of shares repurchased. With regard to dividends, as we noted in our July 1st press release following the CCAR results, we announced our plan to increase our common quarterly dividend by 8%, starting in September, pending board approval. We were pleased to see our stress capital buffer requirement move lower in the results, and it was good to see some of the industry comments about the annual exam coming through the new proposals. Tangible book value per share of $27.71 rose 9% from a year ago. And looking at regulatory capital, our CET1 level remains stable at $201 billion, and the ratio is 11.5%. That's down 26 basis points and remains well above our regulatory minimum today, which will move lower upon finalization of the new stress capital buffer from CCAR, as well as the newly proposed rules. Now, our calculated stress capital buffer and related CET1 ratio from CCAR is 10%, and that takes effect on October 1st. Through the newly proposed rules, which include 2-year averaging of CET1 depletion, our CET1 ratio would be 10.2% and would be effective on January 1st, 26. Either way, we have a lot of flexibility. Our supplemental leverage ratio was 5.7% versus a minimum requirement of 5%, and that leaves plenty of capacity for balance sheet growth. And we have $473 billion of total loss-absorbing capital, which means our TLAC ratio remains comfortably above our requirements. On slide 8, we show a 9-quarter trend of average deposits to illustrate the growth across those periods. Deposits are now 9% higher than their bottom in May of 2023, and that momentum continued as we averaged $2 trillion in July. Typically, we see downward pressure on deposits as we move from Q1 to Q2 as clients pay their income taxes. And this year,
we are waiting
to more than offset those tax payments. Average consumer deposits rose $4 billion from Q1, concentrated in non-interest bearing. We also saw significant growth in global banking deposits, $28 billion or 5% from Q1, and this included some shorter-term deposits from deal-related activity, and that allowed us to outpace the tax payment-related declines in our wealth business, as well as corporate CD placements that matured with our institutional clients. In addition, we remained disciplined on pricing to achieve that growth. Overall rate paid on total deposits declined 3 basis points, led by a 3 basis point decline in consumer. And the rate paid on $952 billion of consumer deposits was 58 basis points in the second quarter. Let's turn to loans by looking at the average balances on slide 9. Loans in the second quarter of $1.13 trillion improved 7% year over year, driven by 10% commercial loan growth. Every business segment recorded higher average loans on both a year-over-year basis and a linked quarter basis.
While they're talking about loans, I just want to update everyone to make sure to hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We are waiting to see if there is any announcement from Bank of America to validate the claims that 100% of their internal transactions are using XRP. They're talking about loans right now, so they won't announce it now. ODL. Is there anything going to be announced about that? Any treasury solutions, any RLUSD integration, any strategic partnerships? ISO just launched 2 days ago. They're talking about technology, so maybe that will come up. But make sure you hit the like button if you haven't done so already. I've put my X link in the comments, so do go and follow me on X. But let me turn this straight back on.
There have been in asset-based securitization.
There's also a poll running in the chat.
Financing solutions for corporate and asset manager clients collateralized by loan, lease, or other receivables portfolios. In credit, we provide term and warehouse financing collateralized by diversified pools of corporate loans for private credit and asset manager clients. We feel very good about the lending, and we feel good about the growth opportunity in these areas, and our expertise has enabled us to participate in a number of attractive deals. Let's turn our focus to NII performance in slide 10. On a GAAP, non-FTE basis, NII in Q2 was $14.7 billion, and on a fully taxable equivalent basis, NII was $14.8 billion. And as I said earlier, that's up 7% from the second quarter. NII grew $227 million on a fully taxable equivalent basis over Q1, driven by higher loan and deposit balances, one additional day of interest, and fixed rate asset repricing. Lower loan yields from lower foreign interest rates partially offset those positive contributors. The net interest yield, or NIY, declined 5 basis points, reflecting a roughly $80 billion increase in earning assets driven by global markets activity. Loans and trading assets generated in global markets contribute solid net interest income, but at a lower relative yield to the overall company net interest yield. Additionally, some of the deal-related commercial deposit growth with relationship clients was net interest income accretive and modestly net interest yield dilutive. My point here is that net interest income growth continues to be the focus, with net interest yield being an output. With regard to interest rate sensitivity, on a dynamic deposit basis, we provide a 12-month change in net interest income for an instantaneous shift in the curve. And that means interest rates would have to move instantly another 100 basis points lower than the expected cuts contemplated in the current curve. And on that basis, a 100 basis point decline would decrease NII over the next 12 months by $2.3 billion. And if rates went up by 100 basis points, net interest income would benefit roughly $1 billion. When we turn to a forward view of NII, let's turn to slide 11. And there remains a good amount of uncertainty from the impacts related to announced tariffs and the potential for continued uncertainty. We've also seen volatility in expectations of future interest rate cuts. So let us give you a few thoughts about the rest of 2025. In January and again in April, we provided our expectations that we could exit the fourth quarter of 2025 with net interest income on a fully taxable equivalent basis in a range of $15.5 to $15.7 billion. We also noted our expectation that that growth would accelerate in the second half of 2025. Our expectation for the exit rate of NII in the fourth quarter remains unchanged, and the drivers of the improvement remain largely the same as those we've discussed. We will pick up one additional day of interest, Additionally, the fixed rate asset repricing of assets and cash flow swaps is expected to provide the biggest near-term benefits to our NII, and that takes into account the impact of the current interest rate curve. Loan and deposit activity is anticipated to also aid second half NII growth. And lastly, Global Markets business is also expected to benefit NII a touch from lower rates as we move through the year. Bottom line is our range of NII expectation for the fourth quarter of this year remains unchanged at $15.5 to $15.7 billion, and that would result in record NII and a full year NII improvement of 6 to 7%. Okay, let's turn to expense and use slide 12 for the discussion there. We reported a little less than $17.2 billion in expense this quarter, and this reflects a nearly $600 million decline from Q1, driven by the absence of seasonal elevation from payroll tax expense and modestly lower litigation costs. Expense compared to the second quarter of last year is up a little more than 5%. That increase reflects an aggregated 9% improvement in wealth management fees, higher sales and trading revenue, and investment banking fees. It also reflects the impact of ongoing inflationary costs and continued investments in people and technology. Inflation is evident across our employee costs of healthcare and hardware and leased space, among many other areas. On the people side, we continue to be an employer of choice with a strong 92% retention rate among our employees. And this quarter, we welcome more than 1,700 interns, and our headcount, excluding those summer additions, has fallen 1,500 from the beginning of the year, proving that we continue to manage our headcount effectively and the associated expense. Next quarter, we'll bring on more than 2,000 campus graduates to begin their careers. And as we move through the back half of the year, we believe expenses will flatten out here and potentially move a touch lower if we see seasonally lower markets-related costs. That, coupled with the expectation of improved NII, is anticipated to provide operating leverage in the second half of the year and an improved efficiency ratio. Let's move to credit. We'll turn to slide 13, where you can see that asset quality remains sound. Net charge-offs were $1.5 billion, up modestly compared to Q1, and that's the sixth consecutive quarter that net charge-offs have hovered around $1.5 billion. The total net charge-off ratio this quarter was 55 basis points, up a basis point from the first quarter. Q2 provision expense was $1.6 billion and mostly matched the net charge-offs. Modest reserve builds in some areas, primarily for loan growth, were mostly offset by releases associated with lower office exposures and mainly from sales. Consumer net charge-offs were $1.1 billion, down modestly linked quarter and consistent with the past few quarters. 90% of our consumer net charge-offs are driven by credit card, and that highlights the importance of prudence in the underwriting growth of that portfolio. It's worth noting the net loss rate on credit card declined year over year for the first time this quarter since early 2016, outside of the pandemic period. On the commercial side, we saw losses of $466 million. That's up from Q1, driven primarily by office exposures and their associated sales, as I noted earlier. The net charge-off ratio for total commercial loans remained low at 29 basis points this quarter. Importantly, our C&I book, commercial and industrial, so that excludes the small business and CRE loans, that commercial and industrial loan book is $564 billion, and the loss on this book was 9 basis points this quarter. It's averaged 8 basis points from 2013 until now. Focusing on total net charge-offs again and looking forward, in the near term, we would not expect much change in the total net charge-off ratio, given the steadiness of consumer delinquencies, stability of C&I, and the reductions in our CRE office exposures. On slide 14, in addition to the lower consumer delinquency statistics, note the modest changes in other stats for both our consumer and commercial portfolios. Okay, let's move to the various lines of business and some brief comments on their results, starting on slide 15 with consumer banking. Consumer delivered strong results with $10.8 billion in revenue. That grew 6% year over year, and $3 billion in net income that grew 15%. Results were driven by the increasing value of our low-cost deposit franchise. Innovation in deposit products like family banking and new higher-value cashback credit cards, coupled with our industry-leading preferred rewards program, deliver total value for clients which we believe they don't get elsewhere. This
XRP breaking out.
Disciplined pricing also drove a 7% improvement in NII. While the revenue growth was led by the NII improvement, it also included solid fee performance in card income and service charges. And through good expense management, we drove 400 basis points of operating leverage in the business as expense growth year over year rose only 2% compared to the 6% revenue growth.
Take a second to follow my X. I'll give you updates throughout this. Here is my X account.
% in the quarter. Investment balances grew 13% to $540 billion, with market improvement and full-year flows of $19 billion. And as I noted earlier, consumer net charge-offs improved linked quarter following the move lower in delinquencies. The loss on credit card fell 23 basis points to 3.82%, and delinquencies declined for the second consecutive quarter. And finally, as you can see in the appendix on slide 24, digital adoption and engagement continue to improve, and customer experience scores rose to record levels, illustrating clients' appreciation of enhanced capabilities from our investments. Moving to wealth management on slide 16, the business delivered another solid quarter where we added new households, deepened existing relationships, and saw strong client flows. The business generated net income of $1 billion on strong loan growth and solid AUM flows. We saw a modest decline in net income as solid revenue growth was more than offset by higher revenue-related costs and continued investments to build the business. Merrill and the private bank now manage nearly $4.4 trillion in client balances and continue to see organic growth that produced strong AUM flows of $82 billion in the past year, contributing nearly 5% growth in AUM balances. And that all reflects a good mix of new client money as well as existing clients putting money to work. During the quarter between Merrill and the private bank, we added 7,100 net new relationships, and in both businesses, the size of the relationships added continued to expand. We also continued to add financial advisors to the sales force in Merrill and the private bank through our extensive training program and experienced hiring of advisors. Approximately one-third of net new households in Q2 were added by our newly trained advisors. We're not only growing relationships, but we're also deepening as the number of clients that have banking products with us grew to nearly 63%. And while this is primarily a fee-based, advice-driven model, about 30% of our revenue is now net interest income derived from GWIM clients and the large loan and deposit balances on us. In Q2, we reported revenue of $5.9 billion, growing nearly 7% over the prior year, led by that 9% growth in asset management fees. Expense growth of 9% supported both the cost of the increase in revenue-related incentives, as well as investment in technology and cost of hiring to add experienced advisors to the platform in Merrill and the private bank. Average loans were up 7% year over year, driven by strong growth in custom lending, securities-based lending, and a pickup in mortgage lending. We saw solid deposit inflows, and overall deposits declined as a result of the seasonal headwind of income tax payments and some continued movements to other parts of our investment platform in search of higher yield. Our pricing discipline resulted in a 3 basis point decline in rate paid. We also draw your attention on slide 26 to the continued digital momentum in this business. New accounts continue to be opened predominantly digitally. Slide 17 shows the global banking results where the prior year rate impacts lowered NII. And this segment has the toughest challenge to make that ground back through growth and pricing. In Q2, global banking generated net income of $1.7 billion. Business activity was solid in Q2. We already discussed the strong deposit growth, solid loan growth, and investment banking fees that gained momentum through the quarter. While business activity was solid, overall net income fell. NII declined year over year from lower rates on the variable loans and higher funding costs for loan growth. Non-interest income included both lower investment banking fees and lower solar and wind investment activity. Non-interest expense to support the business activity grew as we increased investment for the future with more relationship managers across the commercial spectrum, and we invested in technology and marketing. Firm-wide investment banking fees were $1.4 billion in Q2, down 9% from a year ago, led by a decline in M&A and leverage finance fees. We still maintained our number 3 investment banking fee position year to date. Switching to global markets on slide 18, I'll focus my comments on results excluding DVA as I normally do. And as Brian said, we continued our streak of strong revenue and earnings performance, achieved operating leverage, and once again delivered a good return on capital. In Q2, we generated net income of $1.6 billion, which grew 11% year over year. Revenue, and again this is ex-DVA, improved 10% from the second quarter of last year on good sales and trading results, while investment banking was lower. Focusing on sales and trading, ex-DVA, revenue improved 15% year over year to $5.4 billion. Sales and trading built off the momentum of the first quarter.
That probably had...
FICC led the way this quarter, growing 19% year over year, with rates and foreign exchange trading benefiting from the macro volatility. Our equities group had a strong quarter with 10% revenue growth from both trading and financing. And both FICC and equities are benefiting from investments in the international franchise as we saw increased activity across Europe, Asia, and Latin America. Year over year, expense was up 9% on revenue improvement and continued investments in the business. And on slide 19, all other shows a loss of $77 million in Q2 with very little to talk about here. The tax rate ended at 7.4%. It was a little lower than last quarter, driven by $180 million of discrete items. And excluding those $180 million of discrete items and the tax credits related to investments in renewable energy and affordable housing, the effective tax rate would have been much closer to a normal corporate tax rate at approximately 24%. So with that, I'll stop there. Thank you, everyone. And with that, we'll open up for Q&A.
Here we go. Questions. Hit the like button. Get ready.
At this time, if you would like to ask a question, please press the star and 1 on your telephone keypad. You may withdraw yourself from the queue at any time.
Please ask about XRP.
Star 2. Again, that is star and 1. We'll take our first question from John McDonald with Truist Securities. Your line is open.
Hi, good morning. Morning, guys. I wanted to ask about retail deposit progress. There's been a lot of talk about different ways to measure retail deposit share, and I know you may take issue with some of the methodologies out there. But Brian, taking a step back, how do you look at and measure the team's progress in growing retail deposit share, and what's your report card on how you've done and what your ambitions are on that front?
Well, in the end of the day, if you look at the consumer business with $950 billion in deposits, operated very efficiently. It's the cost of deposits, meaning all the cost over the deposits, running under 146 basis points. The total rate paid 58 basis points. 58% of the balances are in checking accounts. You know, it's a tremendous business, and we'll only get more and more profitable as the NII kicks in because they're the biggest beneficiary of that. So if you think about it in terms of deposit growth, we look pre-pandemic to now, our team's gone from 700 billion odd numbers to 950 billion. We've grown our deposits as a company faster than the industry grew from the pre-pandemic to now at 39% versus the industry, like 37%, and large banks at 32%. And obviously we contribute to the large bank growth rate. So we feel very good about it. The key is they've grown checking accounts for 5 years now. They've grown retail deposits, which were influenced a lot because of our mass market customer base being such a big amount by the pandemic stimulus. That has all gone through the system, and you're seeing the consumer deposits growth, 3 quarters in a row now. And the key is that the average average checking account balance is at 9,200. And it went into the pandemic about 6,000 to 7,000. So you're seeing that grow. So we feel good about that. Overall, our average deposit size per branch is $500 million versus the next best at $400, and the one behind that at $300. So I don't know all these methodologies. You guys can look at them. It's a lot of palaver and a lot of debate. But at the end of the day, is we're growing deposits fast in the industry, and 92% of core checking, the checking accounts, consumer satisfaction is the highest it's ever been. So we feel very good about it.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Alistair, wanted to follow up on your expense commentary. Can you elaborate on the outlook for the second half? I think your prior outlook implied some improvement in the second half, and I think you just said you may or may not see that depending on the strength of the markets business.
Well, I think what we're trying to say is it always starts with us with headcount discipline. So the headcount's been pretty flattish. We've managed that pretty well all the way through the year. We don't see any change in that. So then the only variable that's left really is going to be around revenue related. Now, we've seen pretty good growth, obviously, in sales and trading, up 15% year over year. We've seen pretty good growth in AUM fees, up 10%. So, I anticipate that any expense growth would be revenue related and that we should be pretty flattish. Maybe we benefit in Q4 from seasonally slower activity.
Okay, thanks.
We'll take our next question from Ken Usdin with Autonomous Research. Your line is open.
Hey, good morning. Hey, Alistair, thanks for the update on that trajectory for the second half of the year. I'm just wondering, as we move a step forward, if you can kind of just make sure we're still tracking right on the split between the loan securities and swap repricing, and whether that step up in that bucket is linear in the third and fourth, or kind of just builds up.
We're waiting for a question about ISO or XRP. I said it might not come, but if it does, get ready. This one's not about that yet.
At a little bit.
Make sure you've hit the like button. You followed me on X.
Swap repricing than the first half of the year. That accounts for the growth being larger in the second half of the year, but it's not different between Q3 and Q4, so it ought to be about the same.
Okay, and then just on I think we know that the securities and mortgage loans, but can you kind of just dig us in a little bit on the cash flow hedges and what you're seeing in that? Are you still moving forward with the same strategy, the off and on, and how much you're picking up on those?
Yeah, so there's no change there at all. That's exactly what we're doing. Just as the old ones roll off with lower coupons, we're replacing them with new ones with higher coupons. No new news there.
So still in that plus 150 or so range that you said last quarter?
That'll be true for some of the cash flow swaps this particular quarter, and it'll change from quarter to quarter. So our NII bridge that you can see takes that into account.
Yep.
And when we update that quarter after quarter, we'll just share that with you at the time.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot, Alistair.
Yep.
We'll move next to Matt O'Connor with Deutsche Bank. Your line is open.
Good morning. Just want to follow up on the expenses. I guess if you kind of flatline it or flat to just down a little bit, that would put you up, call it 3.5% or so on a full year basis. And I think the prior guide was up 2 to 3, or the high end of 2 to 3. Can you just kind of circle back to the cost versus what you were thinking previously, and maybe talk about some of the regulatory costs that I think are keeping a little bit higher?
Hey, Matt, so I think if you look year over year, just to give you a simple thing about the expense growth from second quarter last year, second quarter this year, 400 of it was basically incentives in the wealth management business, plus what we call BC&E, that costed the markets-based transaction activity, largely markets-based. So that's kind of revenue-related growth, which we all cheer for growth there because that means the bottom line's growing. If you flip that around, then the rest of the stuff, grew at a really relatively modest growth rate. So if you think about it going forward, out of the orders on AML that were public and stuff, we obviously put 1,000 to 2,000 people to work to clean up a lot of stuff. That's now tipping over, so we feel good about that as we move in the second half of the year. And then, frankly, the overall inflation rate and expenses is starting to flatten out, even though you hear a lot of talk about the inflation rate outside in general. But, in the end of the day, we've got stability in terms of headcount, in terms of third-party rents and all that stuff is sort of flattening out, so we feel good about that. And then the idea is then just to bring the headcount down. So if you think about it, over the last 15 years or so, we went from 300,000 people to 212,000 people. We just got to keep working that down. And we've been able to maintain flat headcount across the last 4 or 5 years as we've invested heavily in the front end of the business. And you expect us now with some of these new techniques, frankly, to make progress a little bit more faster. So we feel good about the expense trajectory, but the key is you're not going to change some of the revenue-related stuff, and you wouldn't want to. On the other stuff, you control the heck out of it.
Okay. So it does seem like the costs are coming a little bit higher, but I appreciate the kind of higher fees. I guess as we think about like more sustainable expense growth, like I know there's no official guidance for next year, but just kind of talk about, do you get back into that kind of just a couple % growth, or how should we think about it a little bit longer term?
That's an outsized sort of market growth or market-related activity growth, way above what a normal absorption rate would be. We have a model where we can run the place on a couple hundred basis points net of expense growth, which is inflationary cost of 3-4%, and then offsetting it by a lot of activity. As the NII kicks in, each quarter we've seen it go growing, and then growing at a little faster rate, frankly, as Alistair talked about. That's the operating leverage kicking back in. So we had 5 years of operating leverage disrupted by the pandemic, got back in, and then the rates fall off, hurt us obviously from NII. As that now hit a record level this quarter and is going to grow off of that record level, you'll see the operating leverage overall kick back in. And the size of that revenue stream in all the businesses is huge, and in the company is obviously huge, and that all pretty much follows the bottom line.
Okay, thank you.
We'll move next to Gerard Cassidy with RBC. Your line is open.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Alistair.
Hi, Gerard.
Brian, you guys have had real success in having the digital adoption in your lines of businesses, and you pointed that out in the appendix slides that you referenced. What do you think you could ever get the efficiency ratio back down to the pre-pandemic levels of just under 60%, or has the business changed so much since the pandemic that over time, 59, let's call it, may be tough to achieve? Not near term, but over time.
So, Gerard, one of the things that we talked about, I think there's a couple hundred basis points of efficiency ratio difference due to the way the accounting treatment works for the tax incentive clean energy deals, not the housing, because it won't change, but and so those are now changed under the statute and they'll run off. But if you look at 19 and now, 200 basis points of the efficiency ratio is just because we have an other income loss, which hurts revenue, and it's made up in a tax line. So the bottom line effect is still positive for the company. So that's 200 basis points difference, because back then we ran about $300 million a quarter of tax benefit, negative other income due to the tax exempt deals. Now we're running 900, and so you'll see that close out, frankly, as these deals sunset. Then on top of that, the NI kicking in just because of the nature of it, and you'll see the consumer business get very, very efficient, like it was back then, just because its NI piece basically all follows the bottom line. So we feel very good about that. So yes, we will move back down in low 60s and then potentially crack through it with obviously just the NI lift and the operating leverage lift, but secondly, quite frankly, the tax credit deals will start to run off just due to the change of statute.
Great, Brian. And then as a follow-up, just a broader question for you. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about stable coins. Can you give us your view of where you see the adoption of stable coins going forward and what that might have in terms of impact on payments revenues or deposit trends for Bank of America and possibly the industry?
Yeah, so focusing on stable coins as a transactional device, if it's a new payment rail and we have trillions of dollars we move for our clients every day, we believe that if they want to use stable coins to move part of that money, they'll move. So consider them having an account, and they can send out money in U.S. dollars. They can also initiate transactions, have it go into euros, and it could have it go into stable coins and then transact in that system. So we feel both the industry and ourselves will have responses. We've done a lot of work. We're still trying to figure out how big or small it is because of some of the places are not big amounts of money movement. So you expect us all to move. You expect our company to move on that. In the end of the day, the debate will be how big an item this will be and how much more an effective payment stream it is. And there's places like small balance transfers across border that you can see the case. You can see it with sort of smart contracts and money movement. You can see it in digital native apps, in-app payments and stuff. But we'll be there just like we were there when we moved from checks to Zelle. And you can see that when the industry puts its mind to it, if you were talking to me 6 or 7, maybe 10 years, you'd say, this thing called Venmo's coming on and you guys can be left behind. And here we are. Our Zelle payments exceed Venmo's total volumes today, and the industries are multiples. It's just because we can move money efficiently, and we have to be aware of the attack on the payment system, and we'll be there to defend it.
And just quickly, Brian, do you think there'll be a consortium like Zelle on stable coins where the industry defends itself and moves forward, or will the banks go individually?
I think it'll be all of the above. I think in the commercial side, there might be applications more individually, but in the broad, you need networks to make this all work. And we will partner with some of the stablecoin. We already have partnerships with some of them. And so it'll be a complex array and hopefully not complex to the customer, frankly.
Thank you for those insights. Appreciate it.
We'll move next to Mike Mayo with Wells Fargo Securities. Your line is open.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good, Mike.
I feel like you served up a good meal here. I mean, the main course, we don't lose sight of $2 trillion of deposits where you pay 1.76%, and that's certainly down quarter-over-quarter, year-over-year. The side dishes certainly look good with the NII going to escape velocity, I guess from 14.8, you said, to 15.5 to 15.7 by the end of the year. But I'm still left hungry. I guess I need my dessert or something. I'm just wondering why, even with all that, improved performance, the NII guide isn't even higher given the pace of loan growth. You certainly exceeded expectations, as Alistair said. Every segment of commercial lending is doing well. You seem very optimistic about that. You're also asset sensitive, and there's less rate cuts. So I guess I'm whining for some dessert, some extra. I'm left hungry. Why not more?
Well, Mike, you got a future as a chef. Look, I think if you go to the NII bridge on page 11 for a minute, we put this out at the beginning of the year. There's a lot can happen in a year. And I don't think any of us anticipated all the various things that have happened in the course of the past 6 months. What's not on here, for example, is you think about international rates. They've been cut pretty significantly. That's a headwind that we don't include here. So you're absolutely right. There's some things that we've been really happy with in terms of loan growth. There's some other places which have maybe grown a little less quickly. So, I'd still love to see the consumer non-interest bearing growing just a little faster. We got some good growth, but we'd love to see a little bit more there. But I think the balance of all of these various inputs, it all still hangs together 6 months later. We've removed a lot of risk from the equation, I think. And now we just have to see what happens with rates in the second half of this year. And then we just got to keep driving the same organic growth that we've been driving. When we do that, NII growth for the year, 6 to 7%. Hopefully a record leaves you satisfied at the end of the year, but we'll be working on next year's course in the second half.
All right. So when I go for my next meal next year or the year after, any kind of foreshadowing of what you're preliminarily thinking about for next year?
Well, the only thing I'll say, we'll talk more about next year when we get into the Q4 discussion, 3 months from now. But I think what we're talking about, which is the organic growth Brian's just talked about, driving the deposits and the loans, that should continue. The fixed rate asset repricing, we're going to continue to benefit from again next year. So we're trying to make sure that we're replicating and sustaining results over a long period of time.
All right, thank you.
We'll move next to Steven Alexopoulos from TD Cowen. Your line is open.
Hey, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I want to start the conversation first. I love this AI slide 4. I might frame it, actually. But to start the conversation there, as we've spoken to the banks, there seems to be a fairly wide range of how banks are thinking about AI. Some are using it really to boost productivity. Others are more fully embracing it to leverage digital workers. You seem to be in the second camp. I don't know if you guys saw it, the JPM Investor Day, where Marianne Lake put that slide up looking at headcount coming down about 10% or so in the consumer bank over the next 5 years. Wherever that number ends up being, how should we think about your company as you leverage these tools? Should we think about you as leading, fast follower to whatever JP Morgan does? I'd love to hear you unpack this for us.
Well, let me just welcome to coverage, Stephen. But let's just step back and think about the application technology. 15 years ago, we had 100,000 people in our consumer business. Today, we have 53,000. The deposits, I think at the time, were, say, $400 billion. Now they're 900 plus. The numbers of checking accounts are up 50%. Transaction volume through the roof, et cetera, et cetera. And so all that is enabled by application technology on scale with control and resiliency. And so when you're now doing 2 billion digital interactions, you have to be up all the time. And we have invested probably $2 billion in what we call never down, hot backups so that those systems can run all time. So you don't have to. We don't have to debate the future. We don't. You just look at what we've done. We're down half the people in this business, and it's bigger and more complex and more widespread, et cetera. So that's one. As we look forward, you take something like Erica, and it was developed when none of us knew what a large language or small language model was. It is built, it's operating, and what I described earlier is it now does 20 million consumers use it every quarter actively. They use it 60 million times a month. This is not, again, and every one of those would have been a phone call and stuff. So as we bring it out to wider use case, wider things it can do and train it on, as we bring it across various parts of the company, commercial business with Cash Pro, Erica and full employees, et cetera, you're seeing these models that are, the data's carefully crafted so it works. They get the right decision. You can train them, and we're using it in more places. So we just see that going and going and going. Now, meanwhile, in that consumer number, we have twice as many relationship bankers as we did at the start. So we reinvested part of that savings to drive net checking growth on a consistent basis for 5 years. And if you start to think about 5 million net checking accounts with $9,000 average balances and start to do some math, you start to think that we've grown a good-sized bank incrementally over the last 4 or 5 years. So, it enables you to do that while the cost structure went down $1 billion a quarter in consumer over the time frame. So that's what happens. Then you take something like this Optimus model, which is a model that we built with others, third-party models that we've fine-tuned, and the ability for fixed income traders, which is relatively bespoke still. We have one common equity. We have 300 QSIPs for fixed income, to give you an example, just as our company, to allow them to reconcile trades all through using bots and agents between operations itself instead of emails and share drives and everything going on. It's pretty powerful, and we're just starting at 750 people. This is 90 days old for implementation, and we'll see the benefits of that. 5 people so far, 10 people. You'll start to see more people, and we'll just stop replacing headcount attrition in these areas or reapply that headcount somewhere else. So we think there's a lot to go here. And now I think we've got to be careful. It's got to be done right. The decisions we make are meaningful to people's lives, so it can't be made in a way that's not correct, meaning it comes up with the wrong decision. The customers are vivacious. Their confidence will come and go if you don't handle them right. So we have to be very careful, and that's why it's not a fast follower or a leader. It's can you apply it at scale? That's the question. And if you can apply it at scale, then you can get the benefits. If you can't apply it at scale, meaning it isn't always up and operating, then you have problems, and that's what we're driving at. So you'll figure out in 5 years whether we were the leader or not the leader. We got the patents we showed you. We got the model. The question is, are you actually getting the benefits and the scale? And we have, and we will, and we expect to continue, and yet we're still in the early stages.
Okay. That's great color. For my follow-up, just going back to your response, Brian, to Gerard's question on digital assets. You know, as I study BofA, I think you were the first bank out there with a mobile app. You were the first one out there with Erica, right, the digital agent. But it seems like the way you're thinking about stable coins is it's a little wait and see, right? JPM has a tokenized deposit. Citi has a tokenized deposit. I haven't seen any announcement from you guys. You don't have a large cross-border business right now relative to others, so you could be the disruptor in this new ecosystem, same way you were with mobile, same way you were with digital agent. Are you just skeptical on what this could mean long term? Like, why not lean in with this breakthrough technology the same way you have with these others?
Well, you're forgetting that if you're going to go to customer-facing activity in this area, we had to make sure we had legal clarity, and so that's still going on as we speak, and to be able to apply it. Look, the business cases for it as incremental value are still to be proven, frankly, and so on Bitcoin or on blockchain. We have lots of patents. We've used it in the trade area and stuff where a lot of information's got to move with money and things like that. But we still, in the end of the day, remember, we'll move $3 or $4 trillion today, and all of it will be digital, or 99% of it. So, other than the cash out of the ATM and the checks written by consumers, which are going down, 8-10%, year over year, and are half the checks written that they were, 4 or 5 years ago. Everything else in our company moves digital. And so what's the improved process? And then there's real time, and that's also connected. So we're trying to figure that out. It's not cautious or not. It's just what is the client demand, and when we start to see it, we have built the capabilities, we are understanding what we do, and then we can roll it out. But the question is we aren't seeing, clients aren't knocking on our door and saying, please give me this right now.
Got it. Okay. Thanks for the color.
We'll take our next question from Erica Najarian with UBS. Your line is open.
Yes, hi, good morning. Wanted to just refocus the conversation and just ask Brian, with the deregulatory momentum that seems to be taking place, how do you feel about when is the appropriate time to address that 130 basis point buffer? So, granted, the stress test has been quite volatile in the SCB result, but clearly there's reform to address that. I'm wondering if 130 basis points would still be an appropriate buffer, and what you need to see to rethink that buffer.
So we believe an appropriate buffer is 50 basis points plus or minus. 50 basis points, and that's what we were running down to, pushing down before. We always want that to be utilized, for lack of a better word, by the core businesses, because that's what we're here for. So we pay our dividends. We're basically using all the incremental capital to repurchase shares, and then letting the businesses use up the excess capital to grow. And at the high point, I think we were 12%. Now we're down to 11.5%. So they're using it up. What we just did is increase the amount of which we have. So we expect them to use that and expect us to move down to 50 basis points. Now, remember, we got this debate between averaging and not averaging. We'll see it happen. The SLR is really not relevant for us because frankly, other ratios would catch us before the SLR. The GSIB calibration is critically important because people are forgetting that. That has to happen because we're effectively using 2010, 11, or 12 data on the size of the economy in our company and other companies' relative size to judge how systemically important are. It was meant to be indexed. It hasn't been. The proposal was indexed a year ago or so. From then on, that wasn't really right because it skips all the run-up in size after the pandemic. So we have to see more of this come together. Expect us to work that capital down one way or the other way, but we're always trying to grow the company, and that's what that extra capital there is to grow grow the company, loans, loans, more interactions, more transactions. The balance sheet in markets is growing, and they've done a good job returning on it. So that's what we keep doing. So back up 50 basis points is the target buffers. We just got a change in the last few weeks. The change is still being debated about the implementation timing. We got to get the GSIB thing figured out, because if they don't index it, we'll have an increase coming at us in another year or so. And all this we're working on. But at the end of the day, is we've just returned all the capital we earned back to the shareholders, and we'll continue to do that and more if the business can't use the growth.
Got it. And just my follow-up question here, Brian, is, are there businesses that you're prioritizing in terms of redeploying that capital to that perhaps, where the profitability looks better under this regime? And the $5.3 billion of stock that you bought back this quarter, would that be indicative of your appetite for the rest of the year?
I think the answer on the size of buyback is absolutely, because we just did it, so obviously indicative of our appetite. Every business has an opportunity for growth. Some will have more RWA intensity, some will have less. If you notice, the RWAs in the industry have grown, and ours have grown pretty rapidly. We all need to fine-tune that. That's part due to the models and stuff that are being pushed around behind the scenes that hopefully we get more rational discussion about. But every business has the opportunity to grow. And so the most discreet decision we made was to put, with Jim DeMar and team, is to give them more capital and capacity to grow, and they've used that wisely. But if you look across our businesses, that's the lowest return on allocated capital. So we have to be careful to get the returns. We have to make sure that the wealth management business and the consumer business, which have very high returns on capital, are also growing. So everybody can grow. If they need the capital, they'll take it down. And there's no, the issue is always how much expense you can deploy to grow more than it is how much capital you can deploy.
Got it. Thank you.
We'll move next to Betsy Graseck with Morgan Stanley. Your line is open.
Hi, good morning. Two questions. One, a follow-up on what you were just talking about. I was wondering, with relation to markets, RWA, I thought in the past there had been kind of ceiling on that now is gone. And can you talk to how much RWA are you willing to allocate to the markets business?
As long as they can get the returns, and that's the key, because we got the dynamics of their return on allocated capital. We got the dynamics of their impact on net interest income. So Jim and the team have got to get the returns, and return on assets has to be moved towards 100 basis points and beyond. So there's no theoretical ceiling. It's just the dynamics of how far they can go before they do it. We went from a $600 or $700 billion balance sheet to basically $1 trillion, and that'll ebb and flow based on clients' activity. The GSIB buffer calculation, we're not worried about that. We've gone from basically 250 to 3, and it'll move up. So we wouldn't worry about that, because as they're deploying, they're actually getting enough return that it's absorbing the impact of the rest of the company. That's the other thing you always have to be careful of, is if markets can cause a GSIB trigger, and everybody pays for it. And so we make sure that they can actually get the return that justifies not only what goes into their business, but what the whole company experiences. And that's why the calibration is critical. We got to get these things all work together, and the calibration of GSIB is critical. And the reality is that you've had a basic 20% growth in the capital requirements. There's no major change in risk for most of us across the last 3 or 4 years, just by methodologies of GSIB creep and RWA, calculations behind the scenes where they're pushing us on the models and stuff like that.
But Betsy, we're not aware of any RWA ceiling, and the global markets business, as you've seen, it's just growing as the company grows, and we've just continued to invest there.
Okay, great. And then follow-up question is just on the question on how you are approaching your wind and solar investments with the tax plan that is going through.
Yeah.
Well, how are you thinking about that business, and how should we be anticipating how that will roll through your P&L?
Yep. So I read your report. I think it was pretty good in terms of laying out what the issues are. What we're anticipating is there's going to be a period here where our clients are still going to want to install wind and solar. So we're obviously going to support that. Now, they have to get them into production, and they have to get construction started by a couple of different dates. But you can think about it as between now and 2027, that's when you're going to see all of these things begin to slow and then stop. We happen to have, number one, an installed base of production tax credits, so that will stay with us. But those will begin to burn down over the course of the next 8 years. That's the way I would think about that. And then the low-income housing tax credits are impacted, so we anticipate we'll continue to be involved with those. So I would say we're likely to be involved in deals for the next couple of years, and then you'll start to see the portfolio come down in the course of 2028 all the way through 2033, and it'll just burn down gradually over time, Betsy.
And then does the housing investments increase to offset that wind and solar, fade?
Well, that's largely a question of the size of that market. So if that market sort of grows with GDP, it may not increase in terms of the size that we do as a company, because we're just supporting the clients that we're working with. But if it were to grow significantly, then it could take some of that gap. But I'm not sure that will happen.
Yeah, I think the housing has been a relatively constant number, where the clean energy, the wind and solar in particular, is going to be intertemporal now because of the stuff that goes on and the effects downstream, et cetera, like that. The housing's pretty consistent. It's just a question of how, as Alistair said, how big the demand can be and how it's a competitive market. Other people go for it too. So I would expect that to come close to absorbing that.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you.
We'll move next to Chris McGratty with KBW. Your line is open.
Oh, great. Good morning.
Good morning, Chris.
Brian, you've talked a lot about this responsible growth, and the credit's been tremendous over the years. In terms of the journey on the growth portion, I'm interested in your assessment of where you are versus where you desire to be, and then maybe secondarily, a little bit more comments or color on the loan growth in the quarter, the conversations that you're having with borrowers, the degree of confidence. Thank you.
So I think we always are pushing our team to grow faster, loan growth faster and deposit growth, but faster than the economy grows, and outgrow the economy and then turn that into strong profit. I think you've seen them do that. I think the commercial loan growth, leave aside the markets, which you can look at, and that has elements to it which are specific to the clients that we work with that are financing pools of assets and et cetera. If you look in the core middle market, Wendy and the team have done a good job growing the core middle market business, even with the nature of the, frankly, the commercial real estate flat to down. So, she's grown, I think, 6-8% year over year, absent commercial real estate. The business banking area, the loan growth was okay over the years. We now have added a lot of capacity. That's up to $50 million revenue companies. We effectively doubled the size of sales force by converting in some of the branch-based sales force into that group. They've started to grow the balances now. We'll see some growth there. It's a small portfolio, $13 billion. Small business generally, which is a much larger portfolio, is growing mid-single digits or higher year over year. They've done a good job. So we feel good about loan growth. I think the key is that, this customer demand and line usage is still down. So, we've grown, across the board, but line usage moving to where it was more traditionally is 3 or 4 percentage points of usage, which is a percent or two of loan growth on top of it. So we feel good about that, just as customers get more used to the situation and do it. So we feel good about the growth, and we're seeing every consumer category, I think, grew a little bit this quarter, and we can probably push a little harder in some areas there, and the teams works on that. But, you got to be careful of the volatility of consumer credit when we still have unemployment predicted to go up in most of the surveys we look at. So we're being careful there too.
Great. Thanks for that, Brian. And then secondarily, some of your peers have talked about the willingness to look externally for uses of capital. I may have missed this in your earlier remarks, but is there any, aside from funding the balance sheet and some of your growth initiatives, is there anything within the franchise that you would be looking to perhaps allocate more capital externally? Thanks.
Yeah, I think if you're talking about acquisitions, in the deposit side, that's not available to us. But, in technology space, we bought some companies over the last several years, but they're going to be relatively small uses. We bought one in the medical payments area, then we can bring it to our scale and work it through. And so, there's possibilities in that area. But, really, it's organic growth is the reality, because at the end of the day, our huge deposit share for 30 years plus, we've not been allowed to buy another depository institution. So that game's done. How we got to do it's organic expansion, and that's what we did in all the markets, and we're continuing that push. The expansion markets, we call them, and we're seeing success there, and we'll continue that push. But that's more of a deployment of resources, so we take them out of places and push them. So we're down overall branches year over year. You can see that, but branches in these new markets have grown. So it's more of an expense redeployment question and a human being redeployment question as we get the efficiencies than it is a capital deployment question, frankly.
Right, yeah, I was definitely referring to non-bank. So appreciate the color. Thanks, Brian.
We'll move next to Jim Mitchell with Seaport Global. Your line is open.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Alistair, I know you don't want to give a hard target for NII for next year. I appreciate that. But with the high jumping off point, and then you have a little more puts and takes than most, I guess. You have potential headwinds from the BSB accretion rolling off. You got rate cuts embedded in the forward curve, but loan growth and deposit growth are picking up. Cash flow hedges are rolling off. Asset repricing. How does it all, in your mind, how does it all fit together next year? Can you grow off that 4Q jumping off point in your mind, or
yes,
just any thoughts would be great? And the answer is yes.
No, well, look, the answer to
What's everyone doing? $1,000 giveaway if we get 1,000 likes. Why is no one hitting the like button?
You see the loan growth and the deposit growth coming through. So there's always headwinds in any given year, but our mentality will be, when we come off of Q4, how do we grow NII sequentially each quarter from there? And we're going to benefit again from that fixed rate asset repricing again next year. So that acts as a tailwind. The first quarter is just a little bit different because of day count. But in general, I think you should think about NII as, at least our expectation is, we're just going to keep growing it quarter after quarter.
Okay, that's great. And it just maybe you had highlighted that balance sheet mix has changed a little bit, and you're focused more on NII growth than NIM. I know you had historically or previously talked about a 220 to 230 longer term target. Is that different now, or how do you think about that longer term target?
No, it's not different. I just think, any given quarter.
Go and retweet this post, please.
This quarter was interesting because, number one, we had really high volumes in active markets. So in a period like that, global markets clients are asking us for balance sheet. We're going to provide that, assuming it's well priced, and we felt like it was. So we saw the global markets business take on more in the way of earning assets. That's sometimes NII dilutive,
right,
but it can still be NII slightly positive. So you got a little bit of that going on. And then in commercial this quarter, we just took on some, I mentioned this in the speech, but we took on a couple of very large commercial deposits at the end of the quarter. And those are, NII dilutive, but slightly NII positive. So I think in the grand scheme, this was just an interesting quarter where the NIY came in slightly differently, but the long term remains exactly the same. We're going to drive it back to that 220 to 230 with every available opportunity.
1,000 likes,
okay,
$1,000 giveaway. 300 more. Let's do it.
It does appear that there are no further questions at this time. I would now like to turn it back to Brian for any additional or closing remarks.
So thank you again for spending time with us this morning. Leave you where we started. We saw organic client activity across the board. We're now seeing the second half benefits of the kick in, and we'll expect to get the kick in and NII pushing operating leverage back in the business. That'll continue to be solid revenue growth and earnings per share as we look forward. And as we talked about and showed you some examples, we're now seeing the augmented intelligence, artificial intelligence capacity starting to build in the company, which will add to our efficiency efforts going forward. Thank you for your time, and we look forward to talking next time.
This does conclude today's program. Thank you for your participation. You may disconnect at any time.
Wow. So much going on. Stay exactly where you are. XRP is exploding. Oh, I was muted. It's fine. This is incredible. XRP is pumping right now. We've got $1,000 giveaway. We've got Bank of America confirming things we thought they would confirm. Very unlikely they would have, but they commented on it. I'm going to tell you all about what just happened. But look at this, XRP right now. We were doing chart analysis. We had the bull flag. We had the level of resistance, and we broke through it. And it looks like we're going to $3 right now. But before we talk about that, we've just announced a possible $1,000 giveaway. All you need to do is hit the like button. So share it out. Go share it out. Hit the like button. We're on 740 likes. You can share this out, get it up to 1,000 likes, and we'll do $1,000 giveaway. I'll explain. Yeah, the giveaway will be explained on the next stream. We'll work on it behind the scenes and we'll bring it to you. Martyn's going to bring it to you on his next stream, on my very next live stream. So the next time Martyn goes live, make sure you tune in. That's where the giveaway will be announced. But you still have to do your part. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. If it's impossible for us to get to 1,000 likes, which I don't think it is, don't worry. I will do something another challenge. But right now we are very close to getting to 1,000 likes. So only 200 more likes. Will be announced on my X first, and it will be announced on Martyn's X first. It will be announced on my X. It will be announced on someone else's X. We're going to be announcing this very shortly. But before we do, let me just tell you about what's going on with XRP's price action right now, coming up to $3. It's happening live in front of your screens right after Bank of America announced and spoke about stablecoins, spoke about patterns, spoke about, I've just tweeted one of them and I'm going to tweet another one in a second once it loads. But on blockchain or Bitcoin, we have a lot of patterns. Remember, I just spoke about straight before this a pattern they have with Ripple. So they are acknowledging it. I'm surprised they even spoke about it that much because of obviously all the regulations behind it. They did say something else which was more interesting about stablecoins and partnerships. And they said they have partnerships. They didn't tell us with who. We can make a guess of who those partnerships are with. So stay with me. I'm going to give you some more news on that. I'm going to go get an update from Martyn as well. Let me see what he's been saying in the chat in regards to $1,000 giveaway. Link will be on the X's. So let me give you all the X's you need to follow, because this is happening. I'm sure we're going to get to 1,000 likes. 805 likes. Let's keep hitting the like button. Share this out on X as well. 805 likes. If you hit the like button here, if you've already hit the like button, if you hit the like button in the comment section, it'll bring more people in who will then hit the like button. So I'm very confident this is going to happen. I'm going to give you a few links now so you can make sure you've got, let me just bring up all the links. You've got the best chance of winning this giveaway and understanding what how to win. So let me go over here. No, that's the wrong one. Let me just go over here. There is the link. Okay, I'm going to give you all the links right now. So I've been doing something behind the scenes so I can give you all the Bank of America news. So I'll give that to you in a second. But we've got 3 links. I've got my X. You have to follow my X. There is the X link. And while you're there, I've just done a post on Bank of America. So go and please repost that. You also definitely need to follow Martyn because he's probably going to be the first person to announce it as well. So let me give you Martyn's X, $1,000 XRP giveaway. So here is Martyn's X. I'm going to put it in the chat right now. Here is Martyn's X. Go click on that. Make sure you follow him. And then the other X you need to follow is Vaz. And I'm going to give you Vaz's X, another streamer on the channel. follow these 3x posts, these 3x accounts, and you will get the giveaway. How we're going to do the giveaway as well. So make sure you follow all 3 of the X. We've got 250 followers left. So let me give you an update on everything. 1 second. Let me do this. I'm going to give you the update on Bank of America. So let me make sure this is all correct. And I want everyone to repost this as well. So I'm going to post something very important. Hopefully it goes through okay. I think we have it. So let me pin this post. We've just got a massive announcement from Bank of America, and we're approaching $3 once again. Let me go over to the 15-minute time frame. And yes, XRP is exploding. It certainly is, and XLM is also exploding, up 5.6%. What is Bitcoin doing right now as well? Not doing anything. The stock market, quick look. We're going to be ringing the bell in 5 minutes. Let me just check this. Yeah, the stock market's doing well as well. Okay, so what we've just got going on, remember, this all started with the pre-reaction, which was my thoughts, my opinions from the newsletter on what could be announced. And some of it did get announced, and we were ready for it. Let me give you the link to newsletter. The link to newsletter will give you a story every single day. Every single day you get 5 stories. In fact, today there was 8 stories in the newsletter. XRP ETF stories, the Genius Act stories. You had the Bank of America, everything you need to get ready for. That was all in today's newsletter, and you get it every single day on your app. You can, if you don't like emails, you can get it on the app. You can go onto the website. There'll be more things coming to it, so do make sure you're subscribed to the newsletter. Matthew, wow, why such difference? 1,300 followers at Sensei Crypto, and Martyn has 6,122. I guess Martyn's been doing it for longer and better than me. I don't know. Thank you, Matthew. I guess he can fix it by follow. You can make sure you follow me as well as Martyn. So that's the newsletter. That's where we got the information from. But right now, I just spent some time doing you some more information. So what I want everyone to do is go and see this. This is Bank of America just dropped a massive signal on their earnings call. This is their quote. We already have partnerships with some stablecoin providers. This is the most explicit confirmation yet that Bank of America is entering the stablecoin arena. We haven't had information like this before. Bank of America CEO Brian was just asked about stablecoin adoption and a future of payments. His response, clear and strategic. We believe clients will want to move funds using stablecoins, and we will support that. He even mentioned euros, USD. So what I'm going to do is give you the link for this. I'd love for everyone to go and make this post go viral. Let's get to work, because we're doing a $1,000 giveaway. This is all free. This is all free for all. Everyone can enter. No paywalls. Free for all. And everything to do with it will be free. So this, for example, go and retweet right now. Let's go and retweet this post. Go and smash the like button on this post. I've got the exact moment so you can go refer back to it. We will partner with some of the stablecoin providers. We already have partnerships with some of them. Who do they have a partnership with? Ripple. It's on the tip of their tongue. I believe that their partnership that they're talking about is with Ripple. And that name, XRP Ripple, keeps coming up over and over again. Bank of America has been long linked to Ripple. Make sure when you go there and retweet, you go through all the posts and you retweet and like them as well. Bank of America has long been linked to Ripple. Featured in Ripple's official partner list, involved in RippleNet's pilot programs, involved in ISO20022 testings alongside Ripple, mentioned in the SEC briefing. Let me make sure this video is okay as well. Yeah, everything is on here.
Great, Brian. And as a follow-up, just a broader question for you. Obviously, there's been a lot of talk about stable coins. Can you give us your view of where you see the adoption of stable coins going forward, and what that might have in terms of impact on payments revenues or deposit trends for Bank of America and possibly the industry?
Yeah, so focusing on stable coins as a transactional device, if it's a new payment rail and we have trillions of dollars we move for our clients every day, we believe that if they want to use stable coins to move part of that money, they'll move. So consider them having an account, and they can send out money in U.S. dollars. They can also initiate transaction, have it go into euros, and it could have it go into stable coins and then transact in that system. So we feel both the industry and ourselves will have responses. We've done a lot of work. We're still trying to figure out how big or small it is because of some of the places are not big amounts of money movement.
I apologize, it's a bit quiet if I'm trying to play it through, but if you go and watch it yourself, it will be louder. So go and retweet that. It's already going viral. Let's get it done. $1,000 giveaway. Everything is free. Go and retweet this post. Go hit the like button. But don't forget, while you're there, to go and hit all of the like buttons within the thread as well. And go read it, because if you've missed it, now you know what's going on. Here is the link for that post. While you're there, you can just click on my profile and make sure you're following me. 1,324 followers. We can get that up to 1,400, I'm sure, or at least 1,350. Bell has just gone. The market is open. The market is open. We're going to come straight back to news in a second, but let's play the music. Everyone hit the like button. 1,000 likes, $1,000 giveaway. Let's get the music going.
The year is 1991. Birds and people are living together in seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
Stay with me until the end of the music. I'm going to tell you exactly how you can win $1,000 in XRP. Smash the like button. I'm going to give you the Bank of America rundown as well. Let's hit the like button, go through some of our positions, and we'll come straight back to it. If you want to win, you make sure you're subscribed as well. Let's see if we can get to 91,000.
Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention.
We've got Joby Aviation up 8%. We've got J&J up 5%. We've got SoundHound AI up 5%. Circle up 4%. Rocket Lab up 3.5%. Everything is going up right now. Spam $3 in the chat to see $3 break. The more times you spam it, the more likely it is to break. Everyone spam $3.
Thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash. You
go. Keep spamming it. We're so close. We're so close. We're so close. We're so close. We are very, very close. Let me do this, and this will get us up to $3. You have to trust the process. Spam $3. Trust the process. Don't give up. We're going to have to switch the song. It must have been the song. We're going to switch the song. It must have been the wrong song.
In seemingly perfect harmony, until one day a young man catches fire. This is Phoenix.
It's working, it's working, we're buying it up.
Like a phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn, a thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash, you spread your wings to rise from the ashes. Phoenix, you burst in a fire, burn, a thirst and desire, you transform right up in a flash, you spread your wings to rise from the ashes.
We're just about to get to $3. We'll come back to Bank of America. We'll come back to a $1,000 giveaway. Let's see if we can do it. Smash the like button. 1,000 likes, $1,000.
Get ready for verse 2, Electric Boogaloo.
You see the truth behind the veil, and you know that they're just looking for attention.
Go, spam, spam, spam. $3, we're so close. so close. I respect the effort of everyone. I've never seen a chat rate like it. $3, $3, $3, $3. I loved seeing that. And we are seconds away, possibly, from seeing $3. And how has this started? Well, firstly, it was inflation reports. Secondly, it's what we've just put out on X and what we've been covering this morning. The earnings for Bank of America, they gave us signals, they gave us hints. We've got very exciting news to share with you with a $1,000 giveaway. If you have just tuned in, all you need to do is hit the like button. Once we get to 1,000 likes, we'll do a $1,000 giveaway. We were so close, but we were pretty much there. We were $2.99. I'm sure on an exchange we hit $3. Thank you, everyone, for participating in that. What you actually need to really participate in now is getting the word out. The more people that know what's just happened, maybe the price will go up. I'm going to give you this link. Click on the link and go and retweet this. There's 931 people watching. This is a competition we're going to run for $1,000 in XRP. Please hit the like button. Once you have, go and follow me on X so you can get all the details. But while you're there, please do go and retweet this Bank of America information. We just covered the Bank of America earnings. They dropped a massive signal, talked about stable coins. They talked about a partnership. If you put it all together, ISO20022 is live. Ripple is ISO native. That's what the whole basis of what Ripple was built from the ground up on ISO. The Bank of America earnings call just confirmed active stablecoin partnerships, cross-border plus smart contract payments are front and center. The infrastructure is ready. XRP is right there. We're tracking this story closely. The Bank of America CEO also just said on Bitcoin or blockchain, we have a lot of patents or patents wherever you're from, and you might, however you say it. He says the tech has been used in trade finance, but the business cases for incremental value are still to be proven. Bank of America isn't rushing in, but it's building quietly. It's the fact that they're even mentioning these things. They haven't done that before. To the best of my knowledge, they haven't even mentioned any of this. They've mentioned they've got patents. Well, what else have they got a patent about? Well, with Ripple's technology. They said they've got partnerships, or they alluded to a partnership. Who would that be? Well, who better than Ripple with their RLUSD and their XRP technology? So I'm very confident that maybe in the next couple of weeks we'll get an announcement from Bank of America on what that partnership is and who's it with. But we got the speculation right now. XRP is selling off, but trying to break $3. Once $3 breaks, in my opinion, we're heading to all-time highs and beyond. Again, nothing I say is financial advice. This is my thoughts and opinions only. Please do not buy or sell based on anything. Please do not buy or sell based on anything I say. We are waiting for $3 on XRP. 3,000 XRP to members, newsletter, Discord, YouTube, so many groups. Jesse, it's okay. Be a member of whatever you want to be. You don't have to be a member of anything. It's whatever people want. We're giving the option of whatever people want. There's no need to be a member of anything or everything. You can watch for free as a subscriber. You can watch for free as a non-subscriber. You don't have to be a member of anything. But if you do want to be a member, here is the membership link for YouTube. If you want to be a member of Discord, I'll give you the Discord link as well. This is where you can get the premium Discord, where you can talk to me and Martyn 24/7 and get all the training videos. If you want a newsletter with all the news sources every single morning to your inbox, there is the newsletter. There's sort of 3 services, very easy and simple to distinguish. Whatever you guys want, the options are there for you. Let me see how we're doing. We've got 52 reposts on this. Let's see if we can get to 100. I'll tell you what. Wait, let me make sure I've tagged Martyn. Yeah, let me see. How many likes are we on? Well, 960. If we can get to 100 reposts on this, we'll do the giveaway as well. We will do the giveaway if we get to 100 reposts. We are 960. I'm sure we can get to 1,000 likes as well, but whichever one comes first. 1,000, I'll give you 2 options so we can do the giveaway. Either 1,000 likes or 100 retweets on this post. Let me give you the link for this post. Here is the link. Go and repost it. It's all about what we just watched. And make sure while you're there, you don't just repost and like the first one. Go into the thread and like it all. And while you're there, drop a follow as well. Let's see if we can do that. I'll put 1 minute on the clock and let's see if we can do that. Let me put a timer on the screen. Let's do a 4-minute countdown. Let's see if you can do it. 100 retweets. There is more than enough of people to do this. 100 retweets. Let's see if we can do it. Can we do it? 100 retweets, $1,000 giveaway. Or if you haven't hit the like button yet, do this. But we're running out of time because we're going to end the stream. So you have to do one or the other. I feel like everyone's already liked, so maybe it's easier to do the retweets. One or the other. We've got 4 minutes. Can we do it? Can we do it? 4 minutes, $1,000. Everything is for free for all. Either like or go and retweet. But right now, it looks like we've maxed out on likes. Can we do it through the retweets? 100 retweets, and we do the $1,000 giveaway. There must be 100 people here who have X. Go and retweet, go and follow on X because their information will follow, and go and hit the like button on this thread. Is it pinned? Let me make sure this thread is pinned. It's pinned above. We've got 66 now. We can do this. What's XRP doing? Still not breaking $3. I'm keeping an eye on it. Don't worry. We're keeping an eye on it. XRP's there. I'll give you my thoughts again in a second, but we've got 2 minutes. Let me see if I can put the music on. Oh, sorry. I didn't mean retweet on YouTube. I meant hit the like button on YouTube. Hit the like button on YouTube and retweet on X. 68. Let me refresh. 75. We're so close. 2 minutes. Who hasn't reposted yet? I'm going to copy the link, repost, hit the like button, go into the thread, and how you do that is you click on the post and you can go in and hit the like button. $1,000 in XRP. Can we do it? 77. 2 minutes left. 23 people. If you haven't done it, you're ruining it for the rest of the people. 20 people left. 20 people to repost. Can we do it? Can we do it? How many are we on? 988 likes. We can do it through likes as well. Hit the like button. This is going to be exciting. The biggest giveaway ever. But you've got 1 minute and 35 seconds. 15 more reposts. 3 more likes. 15 more reposts. 3 more likes. Can we do it? Can we do it? 13 more reposts. You've got 1 minute and 21 seconds and we will do the giveaway. 8 more reposts. 6 more reposts. 6 more reposts. 6 more likes. There is the post. Go and repost it. While you're there, go and follow me on X and hit the like button as well. 1 minute left. 1 minute left. 4 more reposts. 4 more reposts. 2 more people. Have we hit it on the likes? We've done it. 1,000 likes. And 1 more repost. Can we do it? 1,000 likes. We've done it anyway. You guys did it. You did it. You did it. You did it. Okay, we've done it. And have we hit $3? The last thing that needs to happen is $3. No, I'm joking, but it would be very exciting to get $3 right now. Okay, we've done it. Let me take the timer off the screen. Wow. Wow, you guys really want it. I love it. You did it. We did it. This is going to be exciting. So what do you need to do now? You need to make sure you're subscribed because the next video, let me hit, let's see if we've got 91,000 subscribers. The next video that comes out on this channel, the next live stream from Martyn will have the rules. It's going to be free for all. It's going to have all the information. It's $1,000 giveaway, and we've just hit 91,000 subscribers. 100,000 subscriber giveaway announced today by Martyn. He's going to come up and tell you all about it. He said he's going to announce it on our X's first. So I'm going to give you the links for 3 X accounts. I'm already here, so I'm going to give you mine. Here is the link for my X. We're going to be announcing this today. Martyn's next show, and on his X and on me and Vaz's X, you'll have the announcement. There is my X. Go and follow it. The next thing to follow will be Martyn's X. I only follow 15 people, so it's very easy for you to find Martyn's X. In fact, I'll give you Martyn's X and do it the other way around. This is Martyn's X. Here it is. You go and follow that. And then you go onto his following, and all you can see is me and Vaz. You go and follow Vaz. You have to follow all three of us. There it is. There it is. There is Vaz's.
Derek has become a member.
Thank you, Derek, for becoming a member. Lots of perks and benefits. So those are the 3 X's. Make sure you go and follow them right now so you are kept in the loop. Are you paying for the giveaway, Sensei? We are covering the cost of the giveaway. There's no cost to anyone. We are covering the cost of the giveaway. Yes, we are covering the cost of the giveaway. God Candle, as in the team, is covering the cost of the giveaway. Not any subscribers or members. Good Candle, this is not sponsored by anyone. God Candle is coming in for GME. Thank you for that. Let me have a look at XRP. Have we hit $3? Resistance at $3 is pretty bad, but the more times we hit it, we're going to grab that liquidity. Let me go and see at GME. What's going on with GME? Well, nothing's going on with GME. Well, that was just a fake. Nothing's going on with GME at all. So that was a waste of time. Let's have a look at Bitcoin. Okay, so the next live stream for Martyn, you're going to see this. I'm going to see, is Martyn following this? Is he going to be coming live straight after, or is it going to be later? I don't know. Let me see. Maybe he's probably watching, so he'll probably reply. If not, I'm going to message him here. Martyn, are you going live? Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to use capital letters. Sensei, Wells Fargo approves XRP payments. Oh, I wouldn't be sure about that. That doesn't sound like real news. XRP, Wells Fargo. I don't see any verified. I see no approves XRP payments. I don't see anything new. I know that's been going around for a while. There is some information about that, but nothing concrete at all. So be careful. I wouldn't say that's true at all. Almost midnight, going early start. It was posted on X. Mario, was it posted on their X? Was it posted on Ripple's X? I'm sure it wasn't. It was posted on some fake account's X, or some click farming people's X. Feel free to tag me in it on X, and I'll go see it and I'll reply to you. Just tag me in it or send me a direct message on X. But I'm 90% sure it would be a fake engagement click account. Okay, let me go through your comments. Is everyone excited for this giveaway? I mean, I can't believe you guys did it. You hit 100. Oh dear. Thank you for hitting. Did we get? I don't think we got. I thought I missed a super chat, but we haven't. It was a membership thing. Derek, member for 2 months. Derek has been a member for 2 months. Let me go over here and make sure. Can't believe we've got 100. I don't think I've ever got 117 reposts on a post. That is incredible. Thanks for getting that done. They had one of their staff say good. They had one of their staff say good things, but what has happened? $3. Yeah, $3 is strong, but the good thing about that is once it breaks, that just means all the shorters will get liquidated. One more piece of good news, or Bitcoin goes to the all-time highs again, 130,000. This Bank of America news spreads, something like that, could cause $3 to break. Once $3 breaks, it will go straight, in my opinion, again, not financial advice, to all-time highs. So $3 is very strong, but that's because there's a lot of shorters there at $3. Once that breaks, I'm sure a lot of shorters will get liquidated. We'll see a lot of liquidations for XRP, and we'll probably head to all-time highs for XRP. Again, not financial advice, just my thoughts and opinions. I can't believe we hit 91,000 subscribers. What a great stream. Probably one of my best, if not the best morning show ever. Remember, we do go live every single morning with all the news as well. So Let's stay live for a bit longer. The next one will be on Extra, so I don't think Martyn has anything planned. So I'll go for a bit longer to give you some more news stories and get back into the morning forecast, because it was a bit of a strange one with the Bank of America earnings. So we didn't manage to go through all our top stories, and I want to do that. So that's what we're going to do, and talk more about XRP as well. Let me close down the webcast from Bank of America. That's all done. We've got all the Bank of America news. Let's have a quick look at interest rates. What is the prediction for FOMC in 14 days? Okay. This is, oh wow, yeah, literally 97% chance that we won't get a rate cut this month. Literally what I've been saying. So let's not expect a rate cut at the end of this month. I would expect it to be in September. Looking 50-50, but obviously looking more in the favour of a rate cut in September. But July doesn't seem like there'll be a rate cut. I would say in September would get a rate cut, but don't be looking for a rate cut. That's been updated since we've got the inflation figures, even though they were quite good. So we'll keep an eye on XRP. If I miss it and we hit $3, let me know in the chat. But let me go through some of the newsletter stories. If you haven't signed up to the newsletter, it comes out every single day. Top 5 things you need to know every day. The top stories every single day. You can read it on the way to work. You can listen to it on the app. If you're a real investor, you want to know the actual stories. We just have always an example of some fake stories going around, and all our stories are fact checked. So please do consider signing up to the newsletter. Click on that link and you'll get all the news directly to your inbox / your app, whatever you prefer. But let's go through some of the news for today. One final look at the comments. If there's a specific crypto you want me to have a look at, if you want me to answer a question, or you want to get my attention, or do a chart request, or whatever, you can do a super chat. Once you do a super chat, because we've had no super chats today, your name will go up as the top session super chatter over here. You'll be recognized, and obviously it will be read out on the screen as well. So that is always something you can do to support the show. But for now, I'll keep an eye on the comments. It's a good idea. Is it a good idea to invest in XRP? I don't give financial advice. That's something you have to think of yourself. Thank you, Martyn Sensei. No worries, Kimberly. This is going to be very exciting. And the Phoenix is rising from the ashes. Yes, we are. What's our current subscribers total? We are on 91,000 subscribers. Howdy, what has happened? Bank of America has happened. We just got what we've been waiting for, really. They couldn't go much further than that, in my opinion. More than I was expecting, in all honesty. As I said, it's a low likelihood they'll talk about crypto and payments and stablecoins, but they did. Obviously, they could have gone further, but this is quite... I mean, if you go and read the thread, you know exactly what's happened. I wonder if Martyn's picked this up on his X. Let me go on to Martyn's X. Let's see if he's posted anything. Let me go onto my account. Let me go onto Martyn's account. We love it. Martyn's been posting the XRP. You got the strength that I really love it. The XRP song on Martyn's account. Let me give you the link to his tweet. He's loving this as well. Go and give that a like and go listen to the XRP song. I want to play the whole thing, but we can't because of the copyright. I can't play it. XRP, biggest news ever. I have announced a $1,000 giveaway live on the show now. You're missing it. There you go. The giveaway has been announced today on the show. Yes, Martyn's been covering all of this, so make sure you go follow his X. I'll give you the link for Martyn's X. Okay, let's get into the normal morning forecast show and go through some of our positions and some of the news. We'll start with some of the news. In the UK, CPI has accelerated. This is when all the fake investors tune out, and I don't mean that in a bad way. It's completely valid. You just want the XRP news, but you don't want the underlying news of real investments, which is fine. we always have our core audience as well. But this is when things might seem a little bit more boring because we're going through the news, but just as important. The one big thing today is UK inflation just flipped the script. CPI unexpectedly accelerated to 3.6% in June, raising serious doubts of the Bank of England's next move and jolting rate cut bets. When inflation surprises to the upside, it's a reminder that cash sitting idle can quietly lose value. Exploring higher interest savings or short-term bond ladders could help your money work work harder without adding major risk. That's the snapshot of today. But let's start with that UK CPI story. We'll come on to the XRP ETF stories and the Genius Act straight after. But let's start with the UK CPI surprise. Inflation accelerates to 3.6%. The UK headline CPI rose to 3.6% year over year in June, above both May's 3.4% and consensus expectations, marking the highest level since January of 2024. Terrible. Awful. The core CPI also edged up to 3.7%, and services inflation held steady at 4.7%, indicating sustained domestic cost pressures. Transport costs, particularly motor fuel, were the primary drivers, contributing 0.15 percentage points to the headline rates. Food prices climbed for the third consecutive month, while owners occupying housing costs slowed to 6.4%, softening the CPIH index. The market reaction was swift. Sterling shifted to price in a 35% chance of rate cut in Bank of England's August meeting. It seems like we won't have a rate cut for another month or another few months again. And that's in the UK. The higher than expected inflation print has cast a doubt on the timing of further Bank of England easing. With CPI now running 160 basis points above the 2% target, gilt markets responded with front-end yields rising 7 basis points intraday, while FX traders pushed pound to dollar above $1.34, marking a dovish bets were pared back. Rising transport costs are also squeezing real incomes and pressuring margins in logistic and retail sectors, although lower housing service inflation offered minor relief. Persistent service inflation underscores the Bank of England's challenge in anchoring expectations, with disinflation trends now looking bumpier ahead of next month's MPC decision. It's not good. It looks like inflation is coming back and fast. 2%, it looks like no one can get inflation down to 2%. The Fed's failing to do it. The UK was on track to do it, or they kind of did it, but now it's heading back up. This is the fears of cutting rates too quickly. Obviously, the UK was cutting rates pretty quick. Now they haven't been able to for a few months. This is what Fed Jerome Powell wants to avoid: inflation coming back to levels like this. Otherwise, he'll have to increase rates again. Let's see how this goes. This is a developing story, but it's not good for now anyway. Here is something crypto related for you guys. So after the GOP revolt, Trump poised for comeback in today's crypto vote. Let me see if I can get an update on that actually. When I was reading the story, it said 12 o'clock, but I think that would be 12 p.m. Washington time in UK. Yeah, that will be happening in maybe a couple hours, so we'll keep an eye on that. So, remember, this is all from our newsletter. If you haven't signed up to the newsletter, here is the link. Remember, there's a monthly, yearly. Obviously, the yearly plan's the best, $10 a month, 30 cents a day to get all the stories. But there's also a free plan as well, which gives you access to these stories as well. So this is what's happening right now. A lot of fake news on X again yesterday, but we gave you the real news. I was covering it on X as well. House Republicans defied President Trump on Tuesday, blocking a procedural vote on 3 major cryptocurrency bills central to the administration's Crypto Week agenda. The 196 to 223 defeat saw 13 conservative Republicans join Democrats in rejecting the legislative package, which included the Genius Act for stablecoin regulation, the Clarity Act for Crypto Market Structure, and the Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act. Keeping an eye on XRP. Let's see if we can play Martyn's song again. I wish I could play it all. 2 cents away. Where were we? The Clarity Act for Crypto. Genius Act. This descending law makers, led by Republican Grenny, raised alarms about potential backdoors for central bank digital currencies in the Genius Act, even though the bill contains explicit language prohibiting issuance of CBDCs, demanding stricter prohibitions despite existing language in the Anti-CBDC Act. This was ridiculous. I didn't understand it at all. So there's an Anti-CBDC Act. I mean, that's obviously anti-CBDC. The Genius Act itself, and I put this on X, literally has wording. You can go find out my X that prevents issuance of a CBDC. Yet, did they not read it? They were like, they just started saying random stuff. I don't know. Was it planned? It just seems a bit weird because there's a whole act about anti-CBDCs. The Genius Act doesn't even allow for CBDC to be created. The wording doesn't allow for it, so it all seems to be a bit weird. They also criticised House Speaker Mike Johnson's refusal to allow amendments or separate votes on 3 measures. Now, all 3 had to go through together, but Trump hosted a late-night meeting at the White House, later claiming on Truth Social that he persuaded 11 out of the 12 holdouts to back the legislation. Let me make sure everything is running smoothly. Let me go over here. We hit 1,000 likes. Perfect. That's all good. I'm looking at the comments. 3 in 2 minutes. It can happen any moment now, but $3 is obviously a tough level that sellers are defending. Shorters are there, but if we break through it, it could be quite a nice candle towards the upside. CBDCs will happen. Revved up biker, I agree. CBDCs will happen at one point or another. If they're not going to be in the US, they'll be all over the world. One way or another, there will be CBDCs. I agree with you, mate. So, House Majority Leader Steve Scalise scheduled a revote for Wednesday at 12:20 p.m. This rare public GOP defiance underscores deeper internal tensions as the party navigates its crypto stance while aligning behind Trump's broader agenda. Just going to open the window a little bit. The Genius Act, already passed in Senate, would impose federal stablecoin standards, including dollar reserves and mandatory audits for large issuers. The stakes are personal for Trump, whose family holds investors in World Liberty Financial. Issuance of the USD1 stablecoin, making legislation crucial both politically and financially. Obviously, he wants this to go through, as do the crypto community. Here is an XRP story. XRP ETF launch will wave hits markets this week as Dubai tokenizes real estate on XRP Ledger. We've got the crypto week. We've got XRP ETFs launching, not spot, and we've also got Ripple doing some more tokenization, which is very bullish to see. The XRP ecosystem is entering a pivotal phase as the ProShares Ultra
Iberian Wolf donated £5 through a super chat. Could you look at Poundland Bridge? Thank you.
Thank you for your super chat. I'm going to put Wolf. And it was £5. Thank you very much. You are the top super chatter of the day, of the session anyway. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. LB Landbridge Company. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is a fun thing to do, to have a look at some of these charts. Interesting. I would be cautiously optimistic with this one. You've got the higher highs. Let's see if we've got the RSI, but they were met. I mean, it was very, very clear. Higher. This is something that was in the training video this week. And coming out next week, and we're going to have a poster coming out so you can identify this. Higher high, higher high, higher high, higher high, RSI, lower high, lower high, lower high, lower high. It was just clear bearish divergence just on the chart, which was obviously why we've come down. So it was looking horrific. These highs were looking quite bad in the RSI perspective. But RSI is now the lowest point it's ever been on the 3-day. You do have this level of support. So $55 is much better place to buy, for me anyway. I don't know your situation, but for me, I'll be buying over here to maybe target at least a bounce back. And what do I mean by that? Either going back to all-time highs, or at least having a bounce to maybe a 50% retrace, $71. Going to a level like the 786 at $80, and then potentially all-time highs. But another thing I'll be worried about is breaking this level, because if you break this level, you don't really have much support at all, in all honesty. So be careful. What is this? It's a $4 billion market cap. It's missed on earnings every time. Ownership of land that holds its use for energy development. Cool. Yeah, I mean, if I was going to buy it, I'll be buying now. I'll be leaving money on the side for $40. I'll be looking to either take profits at 70, 80 or hold it out. Yeah, I'll be looking at these levels. It might go to $54, might go to $52. It might stop where it is now. And I'll put in a level here as well. Here we go. Yeah, so not looking terrible, but cautiously optimistic, because these levels can break $54, $44. I'll keep some money on the side for, $33. I'll keep some money on the side for, but it could potentially look like quite a cool, good buy over here. $55, targeting $70, $80 as well. So an interesting one. The company looks pretty cool as well. If you want them on the show, we can do an interview of them. Just go and email investor relations and say you're an investor in the company and that you want. My volume has gone down. I don't think it has. Let me check. Interesting. No, volume hasn't gone down. Just refresh or turn up your volume. Yeah, you can message, and this goes to anyone who's investing in any stock. Just message the investor relations and say that you're an investor. You watch a show called Martyn Investor. Give them the link and say they meet the CEO series, and they will contact us to come on the show, and then we can have them on, because this one looks pretty interesting. Obviously, it works with the smaller companies like this, even though it's $4 billion. I'm sure we can. When it goes to maybe 10, 50, 100 billion, give it a go, but we probably won't be able to have Elon Musk on the show just yet. Let me go back to the news stories of this week. Volume is good, thank you. Thank you, Sensei. We have the same analysis. Oh, well, that's brilliant, Abramov. That is brilliant. Where were we with this? This is important because this is happening in about an hour's time. Sorry, that was the last story, but this story is the XRP ETF. So the XRP ecosystem is entering a pivotal phase as ProShares Ultra XRP ETF becomes the first SEC approved New York Stock Exchange ARCA listed XRP exchange traded fund. Remember, these aren't spot yet. Officially launching in a couple days, offering 2x daily exposure through Bloomberg's XRP index. This futures-based ETF sets off a sequence of upcoming XRP ETF releases. Turtle Capital will debut its 2x long XRP daily target ETF on July the 21st, alongside volatility shares, which plan both standard and 2x leverage products. Meanwhile, the Rex offering XRP ETF, a spot-based ETF, waits a critical SEC decision on July the 25th. So next week, we could potentially have a spot XRP ETF, and we cover everything live on the show. So make sure you're subscribed and you hit the like button. The more you hit the like button, the more likely you're going to be suggested our content. If you subscribe, you're also more likely to be suggested our content. One step further is just check right now. Next to the subscription, there is a bell. Is it on for all? Make sure you get the notifications. because we go live on breaking news as well. So quite a few leveraged ETFs coming out, and I saw some information the other day, and there was quite a lot of volume and quite a lot of money being exchanged on these ETFs. So that gives me a lot of optimism on when the spot ETF comes out, how much inflows we can possibly get, and we got a decision coming up next week. These launches are aligned with Crypto Week in Washington, D.C., that's what it's been called, where policymakers are reviewing the Clarity Act, the Anti-CBDC Surveillance Act, creating a favorable climate for crypto adoption. Simultaneously, this is another thing that's happened today, which is very bullish. Ripple has partnered with Control Alt to enable Dubai Land Department real estate tokenization product using XRP Ledger Tech. This initiative marks the first government-backed project tokenization program in the Middle East, offering fractional ownership starting at $545 and forecasting $16 billion in tokenized assets by 2033. Control Alt, licensed by Dubai's VARA, has already completed 3 successful tokenization sales, including a $653,000 listing that sold out in under 2 minutes. That is very exciting. Development Alert is in the chat. Hello, Zach. How are you doing? It's lovely to have you in the chat with your 1-year badge. Development Alert is our charity partner from Uganda. Let me see on here. Yeah, you can go on if you click on Development Alert and you go to channel, you can see over here he's got a link to his Just Giving page as well. You can donate there. So there we go. Development Alert has 47 subscribers. Shall we see if we can pump up Development Alert's subscribers? Shall we see if we can do it? He's been a long time supporter of the show. Shall we do it? I think we shan. I think we shan. I think we shall. I think we should. Development Alert, thank you very much for tuning in. I want everyone to go to Development Alert's channel and let's see if we can get him up to 100 subscribers. If you want to donate as well, he obviously has a link right there in his channel as well. So there it is. Let's pump up Development Alert's channel. Let's see if we can get to 100 subscribers for Development Alert. Zach, our charity partner. There is his channel. Click on it, go and subscribe, and go and donate right there. The link is there. So I want to see if we can get to 100 subscribers. We're now on 47. 47. Let's see if we can get to 100. 48. One person, 50. You're doing it. Let's see if we can do it. Everyone, this is a free way of supporting a charity. Just subscribe to their channel and you can make a difference if you want to donate as well. But just click on his link. Development Alert is here. Let's see if we can get to 100 subscribers. 51. 51. Let's see if we can do it. Why is everyone not doing it? Everyone should be doing this. 52 subscribers. Everyone should subscribe to Development Alert. He's been here since the beginning. He's our charity partner in Uganda. He does so much great work. Fresh water supplies. He's literally on the ground doing it. It's not like a charity you're funding, I don't know, people sitting at desks and stuff like that. And funding all of that. Zach is on the ground doing the work. Well, thank you so much, Sensei. We actually have a match donation campaign right now by Global Giving running for 24 hours. Is that the link in your is that the link here? Does it say that? Let me go. Do you have the link for it, Zach? Do you have the match link, or is it just this? Let me know, Zach. You're a mod, aren't you? This is a registered charity with YouTube. Yes, he does have it. Global Giving is a registered charity with YouTube, and we're hoping to do an event as soon as we hit 10,000 subscribers on the music channel, which I'll share in a second. Well, so thank you so much. We actually have a match donation charity. Yeah, Global Giving. Yeah, we We've checked, and Global Living is part of that. Zach, do you have you can't post the link, but if you send it to me on Discord, is there a special link for the the match campaign? I think I've got you on Discord. Is there a special link, or is it just that one, Zach? Let me know. How many subscribers do we have now? 61, 65. We should get this to 100. What's everyone doing? 100 subscribers. 100 subscribers. We can do it. There is a link. We will be our first fundraiser when we hit 10,000 subs on the event channel, as at 10,000 subs YouTube turn on charity giving. Yes. Yes, Sensor. Every campaign on Global Giving will be eligible for match donation. Yes, I'm going to share the YouTube channel, the music channel, because we can't wait to do that fundraiser. But in the meantime, I'm going to give you this link as well. Here's the link to Development Alert Uganda on Global Giving. Right now, everything is matched for 24 hours. If you have anything spare, if you can help out, there is his link. Don't stop until 100 subs for his charity. Yes, let's see if we can. There is a link for the Global Giving if you want to donate, but if you can't do that, let's at least try and get Zach until 100 subscribers, and we're not going to stop. 67 subscribers, 67, another 23. There's people here at 100 subs. He can go live and do more for the charity. That is right. It's free. You can go and press subscribe. You can go and press subscribe on Development Alerts YouTube. Let me refresh that again. 67. There should be 100 people. What's going on? 30 more people. Do I have to put the music on? A 100 subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, the link is right there. Just click it and press subscribe. The more you give back, the better it is for you. Remember that. It all comes back. This is ridiculous comment. Look at this comment. Stop begging for subs and charity, you sad guy. This is an absolutely ridiculous comment. Imagine if the only thing we ever talked about is being greedy and talking about money every single day. That is a ridiculous comment. LabS, talk XRP. I don't work for you, LabS, unfortunately. This is our show. We decide what we talk about. And just because we want to give back, that is... Oh, I was playing it again. Martyn's taking care of it. Vaz is taking care of it. It's ridiculous. It's not all about you. It's about the world. I don't know how to even say it. I don't want to get too angry. But LabS, we don't want you here. If you want to go and direct someone on how to do their show, you can go somewhere else. We've just done a 2-hour show all about XRP. You can go. How do I get rid of you? If I press that. LabS, we don't want people like you here. There you go. Bye-bye. I can't believe it. Just 5 seconds of giving back to a charity and just asking people to subscribe for free, and someone reacts like that. It's absolutely ridiculous. You're not welcome on this channel. 77 subscribers, 20 more on our Development Alert, a charity partner in Uganda. Let's see if we can get to 100. That is ridiculous. We'll come back to that shortly. Let me go back into the news. What is... I don't even want to talk about XRP, even though I was about to talk about XRP, but now I obviously will, because I choose what I do. Let me go over here. XRP is at $2.95. It's failing to hold and break out of $3. 100. Let's go. We will get it. I won't give up. I won't give up, Martyn. You won't give up. I won't give up. We'll get there. Don't give them any recognition, says Sandra. No, they just get blocked. I mean, especially with a comment like that. Thank you so much, Lucas Aids. Development Alert, Zach. You're very welcome. You've been here since the beginning, of course. You're the best charity partner we have. 100% we will do it right now. Yeah, I mean, we've got 575 people watching. We're on 77 subscribers, 82, 18 more people, 575 people watching. That means all of you have YouTube accounts. You just click on that link and you press subscribe. Click on that link and press subscribe, and then he can go live as well on YouTube and do more for his charity. There it is. Come on, guys, we can do it. Beachfront Java says we can do it. Beachfront Java, we can do it. Thank you, Beachfront Java. We look forward to tasting some of your coffee when I come to the US. I noticed you don't ship to the UK. Sandra and John, don't give them any recognition. The charity provides fresh water and education in Uganda. Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing charity. I've seen exactly what they do. They create fresh water supplies, wells, deep bores, shallow wells, education, provide books, provide pens, provide school education, provide people to go through to universities, and it's literally like $50, $100 can go and just send someone through 3 years of university, or $50 can help fund a well. So he does a lot, and he does it right on the ground. You're not donating to a massive charity which has lots of overhead costs, and your money's not going directly there. It's an amazing charity, and you can help out not even with money. You can help out by just subscribing. I promised you our first full fundraiser event on the YouTube channel. It's going to happen. It will happen, and it will happen. So there is Zach's YouTube channel. 12 more people. There's 600 people watching. 12 people subscribe to Zach's YouTube channel. We can do it. With all the money in the world isn't with all the money in the world isn't it insane how people do not have running water? It's insane. And not only do they not have running water in households, they don't have running water for miles. And that's why it can be. And it's not even. Yeah, I mean, it's terrible. You can't really think about it, can you? Too much. I mean, you can do what you can do. And one of these things is subscribing right now. Thank you for your kindness. Oh, Quit Books. Of course, this is a channel about the members, about you guys, about everyone who watches. It's not about us. It's not about getting us rich. It's not about doing this. We want to give away. We want to give back. $1,000 giveaway. We want to give back to our charity partners. Martyn wants to reach 10,000 subscribers on the music channel so he can do lots of fundraisers. So there we go. Just done it. Sorry. Simon Meadows, don't worry. Thank you for doing it. I'm buying at $2.94 and selling at $2.96 for the next hour. Good luck to you. I did it. Love helping people. Teresa, that is so great to hear. And especially when it's free. I'm not even asking anyone to donate. I'm just asking everyone to hit subscribe. 11 more people. We're so close. We can do it. 11 more people. If you're watching, how close now? So 11. We can do it. We can do it. 11 people. You know if you haven't subscribed. 11 people haven't subscribed yet. And you can do it. It takes 11 people. So if you know you haven't subscribed and you're watching the show and you appreciate what we do, just go and subscribe to Zach's channel. The link is in the comment section right now. All it takes is 2 clicks. Click on the link and press subscribe. Come on, people. It's all about sharing and caring. Let's give him a hand and let's grow his channel. Sylvia Westrop, you've got the right idea. A lot of positive people in the chat. If you're a positive person in the chat, leave a positive comment right now. Spread some positivity. Spread some positivity right now in the chat. Well, Keith, thank you so much. Much love from all of us in Uganda. What a key. I'm going to donate to them. Keith B. Oh, we've got your pin. Keith B has just donated to Development Alert Uganda. Wow, that's incredible. Thanks for doing that. And right now they're matching they're matching it. So whatever you do is double. There is his link. Global Giving, registered charity. You can click on it and it will basically double it, a 2x straight away for a charity. Wow, that is incredible. Development Alert will appreciate that so much. It's so hard running a small charity, so every little helps. Come on, family, let's help his charity grow. We can do this, family. Let's give back. Yeah, some positive comments, guys. Positive comments. Let's see who all the positive people are in the comment section. Much love back, Development Alert. Oh, Keith B, that's amazing. It's remember, giving back, it always comes back to you. It is more blessed to give than to receive, says 190 Buckley. You are correct. Just subscribe. Thank you so much. It's indeed fulfilling to help. 3 positive is that it's going to $3.10 at least, but not for a couple hours yet. Subscribed. Are we there? One more refresh. 94. 6 more people. Who hasn't subscribed? Who hasn't subscribed? You know who you are. 6 more people. Here is the link. That's the link to donate, and that's the link to his YouTube channel. How close now, Sensei? Very close. Very close, Martyn. Let me refresh. 95. 5 more. Wait. 4 more. I don't know how I wasn't subscribed. I apologize, Zach. That happens. I apologize. 4 more subscribers. 4 more subscribers for Zach. Let's see if we can do it. Let's see if we can do it. How close now, Sensei? 4 more people. Hi all. Hi Brian. Brian, welcome to chat. If you haven't subscribed to Zach yet, please do it right now. He's our charity partner, and we're getting him to 100 subscribers so he can go live. Thank you so much, Justin, for the sub. No worries, Zach. We're doing this. We're going to get there. 99. 1 more person. 1 more person. 1 more person. 1 more person. Yes, he can go live at 100 subs, and then you can do more great work. Yes, we look forward to that. Official subscriber Dahlia, thank you so much. Have redone it. One last refresh. If you haven't subscribed yet, here is the link. One last person. 102. Oh, why is my sound effects not working? Thank you very much, everyone, for doing that. Zach is going to be very happy right now. If you want to take it one step further, then there is the donation page right now for 24 hours. It's going to get matched. 2 subs from me. Love it, Revved Up Biker. Remember, check now. Yes, we did it. We did it. If you want to go one step further, there is the donation. Even $1 helps. So let me go back to news stories. Then I'll tell you about the music channel. Dustin, Sensei wasn't subbed. I have to be very careful of, we want to keep what I'm subscribed to very small. So I always, I don't subscribe to anyone. But, you know, I admitted to it. I subscribed. I'm part of it now. Nothing wrong with that. What a day. Thank you so much, everyone. Development alert, no worries at all. Thank you to Martyn for allowing a channel like this to do stuff to help out. Wow, wow, wow. What a day. Thank you so much, everyone. Zach, I'm glad you like that. I used the global giving link. Oh, Keith B has even donated using global giving. That is amazing. Yes, huge thing. I look forward to seeing a live stream. Good luck. Yes, good luck, Zach. That's what Keith B's done. Just use the global giving link to donate. There is the link. Okay, back onto the stories of today. We've just done the XRP story. Trump's Ukraine weapons reversal signals major policy shift. President Trump announced a dramatic pivot in Ukraine's policy on July 14th. Unveiling a plan that enables European NATO allies to purchase billions of dollars in US weapons for transfer to Ukraine. The move revealed during an Oval Office meeting with NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte marks Trump's first tangible military aid package to Ukraine since returning to the presidency. The first phase involves roughly $10 billion in sales of Patriot missile systems, artillery shells, and advanced munitions with 8 countries: Germany, Finland, Denmark, Sweden, Norway, the UK, the Netherlands, and Canada, already committing to participate. The arrangement channels profits to US defense giants like Raytheon Technologies, Lockheed Martin, and Northrop Grumman. I feel like I pronounced them all wrong. While leaving Europe to foot the bill, allowing Trump to maintain his America First stance. Simultaneously, Trump issued a 50-day ultimatum to Russia, threatening secondary tariffs on nations trading with Moscow if a ceasefire isn't reached. 100% tariffs, by the way. Analysts view the deal as a blueprint for future military aid models, locking in US arms revenue while pushing European allies towards long-term commitments, including a NATO-wide 5% GDP defense spending target by 2035. The UK pledges major reform to banking ring fencing rules. This was Rachel Reeves speaking yesterday at Mansion House. Chancellor Rachel Reeves has unveiled plans to overhaul the UK's banking ring fencing regime as part of her sweeping Leeds reform aiming at boosting city competitiveness. In her Mansion House speech on July 15th, Reeves promised a full review of the post-crisis rules that requires banks with over 35 billion in deposits to separate their retail and investment arms, a framework unique to the UK. Economic Secretary Emma Reynolds will lead the review, with analysts estimating the changes could unlock up to 2.5 billion in value, benefiting banks like NatWest, Lloyds, HSBC, and Santander. Critics argue ring fencing has led to capital inefficiencies and stifled lending, while supporters caution that removing guardrails may reintroduce systematic risks. Investors will be watching closely as the UK repositions itself as post-Brexit global finance landscape. Europe buckles on digital tax as Wall Street demands tougher trade stance. Big story here, the 30% tariffs. The European Union decision to abandon its digital services tax, originally aimed at tech giants like Apple, Google, Meta, and Amazon, reflects growing anxiety over President Trump's looming 30% tariffs on EU imports starting August the 1st. Quietly scrubbed from the EU's 2028-2035 budget, the levy has projected to raise 37.5 billion annually and narrows the tax gap between digital and traditional firms. The reversal comes amid fears that escalating trade friction could collapse ongoing negotiations, with the EU Trade Commissioner Marcos warning the tariffs would make trade nearly impossible. Analysts now view the retreat not just as physical compromise, but a strategic submission to EU economic coercion, potentially emboldening future pressure on Brussels' digital sovereignty agenda. Wall Street is now taking notice and speaking out. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon, speaking in Dublin ahead of Trump's tariff announcement, issued a blunt message: "You're losing." Dimon pointed to Europe's GDP slide from 90% of US levels to just 65% in 15 years, as evidence that the continent must unify its financial infrastructure to compete globally. As US banks begin to lose deals in Europe due to rising anti-American sentiment, Wall Street fears deepening retaliation could destabilize financial markets. The EU's $72 billion counter-tariff package targeting Boeing, US autos, and Bourbon hints that more confrontational stance. Yet the digital tax reversal may undermine the credibility of that response, casting doubt on Europe's readiness to defend its economic autonomy under escalating US pressure. Backtracking on that tax, losing revenue, also that they don't get hit with a 30% tax. Is it going to work, or is it going to be even worse for them? We'll see. August 1st is that deadline. If that 30% tax stays, as you heard from, who was it that said makes trade impossible? It was the EU Trade Commissioner said that those tariffs would make trade nearly impossible. So let's get ready for August 1st. That could be quite a bad, if we're getting close to there and no negotiations have taken form, I would start getting quite worried. Trade turbulence. US locks in Indonesia deal, hits Mexico with tomato tariffs. So the US has finalized a trade arrangement with Indonesia, reducing a threatened 32% tariff to a fixed 19% ad valorem rate on Indonesian imports. In return, Jakarta will eliminate its own duties and commit to buying $15 billion in US energy, $4.5 billion in agriculture products, and 50 Boeing jets. Meanwhile, the US Commerce Department has terminated the 2019 tomato suspension agreement and immediately imposed 17% anti-dumping duty on fresh tomatoes from Mexico, affecting a country that supplies 70% of US tomato 70% of US tomato consumption. Analysts expect a 10% increase in shelf prices and a 5% drop in demand. These moves highlight a broader White House campaign for reciprocal tariff terms ahead of a planned August 1st tariff review that could raise baseline rates to 15 to 20% on multiple trading partners. While Indonesia's pact offers growth tailwinds for sectors like apparel, energy, and rare earths, it also throws Boeing a potential $19 billion lifeline amid rising European tariff headwinds. Conversely, the Mexican tomato duty tightens margins for grocers and restaurants and adds inflationary pressures as CPI climbed to 2.7%. You already had the Bank of America story this morning. We know what's happened. Remember, I'll play this clip once more of a couple months ago when a CEO came out and said this.
Another one you like is Ripple. You said it is the coin to be looking at right now.
Absolutely.
Why?
Okay, so Ripple actually was the second largest coin prior to the SEC's investigation of them. They did this really weird lawsuit against them, and basically the Ripple's going to be the track that everything's going to be running on in the future. So they created their own stable coin right now.
Okay.
And Bank of America, like I said, they were doing 100% of their internal transactions. They've got 83 different patents on it, and there's some incredible stuff that's going to be coming out.
100%. We didn't get that confirmation, but we did get a few sneak peeks into what that could all be. Let me make sure this is going to the extra channel. Yes, it is. Okay. You also have the chart of the day regarding XRP as well. You can see $3. I said it's going to be a tough one to break, but a clean breakout above $3 will clear the path to all-time highs, igniting momentum traders and drawing renewed interest. I'm not going to go too much into all the levels because it's for the premium members of the newsletter, and that's the economic calendar. I don't want to give too much away, but we gave a bit more away than usual today, so you can get a glimpse of what the newsletter is all about. If you haven't subscribed to the newsletter, please do go ahead and subscribe to the newsletter. Here is the link to the newsletter. Make sure you subscribe. Development Alert, I've just subscribed to your channel. How many is Development Alert on now? 107. 107. We love it. Thank you, Development Alert, for being here. I'm going to give you the link to Martyn's music channel as well. Let me find that. Martyn Lucas music. Here we go. Here is the link to Martyn's YouTube channel. There is the channel you need to subscribe to. That's where the XRP song is. That's where we're going to do fundraisers for Zach. He's going to be our first one. Well, I say we. Martyn's going to do it. The first one for Zach. So if you want to support even more, again, in a free way, all you have to do is subscribe to that music channel. You get all of Martyn's music. Plus, once we reach 10,000 subscribers, there is a 100% free. So there's not a 30% commission from YouTube on super chats. It all goes straight, and there's no credit card fees. It all goes straight to the charity. So straight to Zach. So there is when we do one for Zach, there is the link. Go and subscribe to Martyn's YouTube channel. I think only 1.5 thousand subscribers left to fulfill that goal. Currently sat on 91,016 subscribers. 22 subscribers. Thank you everyone for subscribing on this channel. Remember, the music channel is a separate channel as well. Link is in the chat. I think that's everything. I think I'm pretty much exhausted. One of my longest shows ever. Over 3 hours we've been live. Martyn can do this every day. I struggle to do this. I don't know why. And now you've got the sun coming in behind me. I think it's time to put an end to the show. Stay where you are because we're going to take you to the extra channel. I'll give you the link for the extra channel as well. Let me go here and get the extra channel, Martyn Lucas Extra. It will take you automatically there as well. We will be waiting until Martyn comes on and announces the $1,000 giveaway. That will be announced in the extra channel. So make sure you go to the extra channel so you're the first to know about it. That will be all in the extra channel. Let me give you the link to the actual stream. Sorry, here it is. This is where we're going now. Martyn will come in there and he will announce the giveaway when he's going live. Just hit 8 on my crypto portfolio. Martyn and Sensei Luck strategy shared with me. Casey, good luck to you. Do you think Virgin Galactic was short squeeze today? It's very unlikely you get a short squeeze. They only come once in a while, so I haven't looked at it, but probably not. No partnership has been announced. Well, not the specific names, no. But we've got a good idea. So thank you everyone for tuning in. This stream will take you directly there. Every morning we're live, whether it's Bank of America we're covering, or the news, or XRP, or something else. We're always live, so make sure you are subscribed. XRP has a good chance of breaking $3 today, so we'll keep an eye on it. If you haven't followed me on X yet, let me give you the link, because I'll be going and digesting what's happened and giving you updates there as well, and I'll be updating you on the giveaway there as well. So there is my X link. Thank you so much for tuning in to today's show. Make sure you go into the extra channel. One final thing, if you haven't got the XRP mug yet, what are you doing? There is the XRP mug. Senator XRP is not a security. You can get that alongside a t-shirt, and you can get 25% off. So there is the link to the merch store. Remember, we pay for every single one of those licenses. My target is $7.50. Not too far away from mine either. So there we go. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Stay tuned for Martyn's announcement. He will be putting on the extra channel when he's going live. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.